you be suggesting, or what would you be doing if you're out there now as a batter for the Strikers?
Well, I think you've got to somehow. Well, I mean, you can't leave it too late. Obviously, I think what this innings needs is a little bit of injection of pace. I think you've got to play a little bit of brave cricket. You've got to try and target one of these Perth Scorchers bowlers and say, right, we've got to look to take one of these guys down. It looks like they're bringing on Fawad Ahmed, so maybe the opportunity for Rashid, something like that, to again utilise those short square boundaries, just to give the innings some impetus. Otherwise you're crawling along here.
He's gone for 26 runs, yet to take a wicket. Well, that delivery is wide and signal wide as well, and that one right on the line again. But I don't know, there's something about the spin bowler bowling wide like that, you tend to be a bit more with the umpire on that one. 9 extras so far in the innings, so Ahmed will try again looking for a little bit of width, but that one's legal. That's fine. Hold on, Rashid Khan doesn't like it. I think that was okay.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Poking his tongue out. Get that tongue back in, young man.
Leg spinners club.
112 for 5. Next delivery. Oh, he's gone to swipe this one straight, but it's in the air. Will there be anybody under it? Oh, just out of the grasp there of the fielder Berendorf, moving to his right-hand side, and it's over the rope. It's going to be a 6. Rashid on to 7. 118 for 5.
Yeah, exactly the right tactics from Rashid. He must try and target one of these bowlers. You would think for someone of his batting ability, it'd be easier to try and take down the leg spinner Fawad Ahmed, try and inject some pace into this innings before it's too late. Push him up to 140.
It would have had to be an acrobatic stuff to have stopped that from going over the boundary. In fairness, 118 for 5. Next one. Oh, he's gone for the helicopter there, and it just out of the grasp of the fielder, just on the edge of the circle. And they will go through for 1, and Rashid moves to 8. It smiles all around between Rashid and Ahmed. 119 for 5 midway through this 17th over.
Lovely shot for 1.
Yeah, exactly.
I think MS Dhoni will be very, very proud of that shot.
That'll be the next innovation. You'll get style marks as well. Short it is facing, is on 8. Drives that through, extra cover. It's along the ground. There's a fielder out there. They will go through for 1 and have to settle for 1. Short moves to 9, and the score now 120 for 5. 2 balls left of this 17th over. In terms of the pitch, is this the sort of pitch that you'd be thinking, well, look, even in the power surge, we need to keep it on the ground, or do you think there's enough pace in it to go aerial? Get your thoughts on that in a moment. Ahmed in and bowls and worked away along the ground again. They'll have to be quick going through, and they are for a single. And Rashid to 9, 121 for 5. 1 ball left of the 17th over.
Yeah, Jenny, having played here before, I mean, it's a good batting surface. Probably one of the best surfaces to bat on in Australia. I think what makes it difficult for ball striking is the ground dimensions. But you know, they're very long boundaries straight, and you've seen from the dismissals generally it's from the fuller length. I think where the Scorchers bowlers got it wrong early doors was trying to bowl the ball short into the wicket, and I think that's what allowed the strikers to get away. But as soon as they've been a little bit braver and pitched the ball up, generally it challenges the batsman straight away. You're looking way down the pitch or down the ground, and you think, right, I've got to nail this in order to get runs, and that can breed, you know, people trying to overhit. You saw with Phil Salt, he just lost his shape a little bit on the shot, and others that have come in, you haven't quite timed it down the ground. So I think it's more the dimensions rather than the wicket necessarily.
We still wait to see if we're going to get the power surge now in this over. If not, we'll have to have it at the end of the next. I don't think I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I've tried to watch nearly all the games, but I've not seen one that's actually gone to the last 2 overs. But whether by design or necessity, we wait to see if that's going to happen in this game here this evening. It is something new. It's something everybody's just trying to come to terms with, but it certainly had, on more than the odd occasion, quite a few games now, it's had a good impact, and has led to games being turned on the head. The power surge, 122 for 7 after 17 overs, and we are in the power surge now, so we're just waiting for the umpire to say, you're on screen, left arm, oh, that's a beautiful move, sir, and the right as well, full of grace, lovely stuff. So it's 122 for 5. We're in the power surge. Rashid on 9, Short on 10. Richardson it is who will be bowling. He's bowled 2 overs so far, 1 for 8. And this is where it could and should get interesting. But will it be for the benefit of the batting side or the fielding side? Let us wait and see. It's Short who is facing at the moment. He's on 10 not out from 11 balls. Everybody settles down, eyes down, looking for the power surge as Richardson in and bowls down the leg side. Diving attempt to try and stop the ball. It's a leg side wide signalled by the umpire. Ahmed to the ball now. So immediately Richardson with a wide, and the score is 124 for 5.
Yeah, a little bit of a ragged start.
yeah, it is.
Ragged from Jai Richardson. Not what the captain would have wanted.
Remind us what are the bowlers looking for and what you've seen there. They haven't got it right all night. They didn't get it right at the top.
Yeah, again, it's just keeping the plans very, very simple, I think.
Richardson coming into Rashid Khan now. In bowls, and again, leans back. That's a lovely shot. He sort of goes back and just whips it away through extra cover. He's a delight to watch, isn't he? Whether he's got a ball in his hand or a bat in his hand. It's a boundary. Rashid onto 13.
That is a fantastic shot. I mean, that is not, you wouldn't call that a short ball at all, but that's the value of these guys now. They're so adept at using their wrists. I mean, he's just whiplashed that through backward point from a ball just on top of the stumps, you would say.
Rashid is on 13, and this next delivery, Richardson in and bowls. LBW appeal, hit him on the foot. The umpire says not out. He moved out of the way of that. Now, my first look at that, Michael Carberry, is it just hit him straight on the foot, right in front of the middle stump. Let's have a look at it again. What do you make of this, Michael Carberry? Oh, I don't know. Wasn't on his foot.
I would say that's missing leg, missing off, and hitting middle.
It wasn't on his foot, but yeah, exactly. I thought it hit him just plumb on his foot. It did actually hit him low down on the pad, but the umpire says not out. I don't think I want to see the replay of that one. 128 for 5. We're in the 18th over. Next delivery wide of the leg stump. He's trying to give himself room. The bowlers following him. They'll go through for 1. I think it came off the pads. Signals a leg by, but 129 for 5.
Yeah, that's a good example. You know, you made the you asked a question about bowling plans, and you can see, you know, Jai Richardson, he's stayed on the stumps. All right, yes, he was clattered off a ball. You know, you say that's a great shot, and sometimes you have to give credit to the batsman, but he's kept his plan at the stumps and made these batsmen go across the ball, which is what you have to do at this stage.
So it's Short who's facing now. Richardson comes in and bowls again, looking again for the leg stump. He's got that away fine, this time for 4. Helped it on its way. It's a boundary. The power surge, it's going okay at the moment here for the strikers. They're finding the boundary. 133 for 5. 2 balls left to the 18th over.
Yeah, and slightly confusing captaincy here. I mean, if you've got Jai Richardson trying to target those stumps at the pace we know Jai Richardson can bowl, surely fine leg has to be back at this stage, because you know any little touch, any deflection is going to go away for boundaries. So a little bit confusing why he's got the short fine leg up in the ring.
So it's Richardson again. 1 for 19 this figures currently. Is bowling to Short, who's on 14. Creates a bit of room. Short has been pulled away through mid-wicket. There is a man out there, and therefore they won't find the boundary on this occasion, and they'll get a couple of runs. Score moves 135 for 5, and Short on to 16. As you say, this is a difficult ground to find the boundaries necessary, so running hard, making sure you get those couple of runs. 1 ball left to the 18th over.
Yeah, and I think, you know, knowing, as I say, Jai Richardson's skiddier type bowler, you'd think the fine leg and certainly having your long leg back would be a better served at this stage.
Richardson to Short. Short 16 not out. LBW appeal again. What about the umpire this time? And the ball itself goes play. Yes, he's given him. LBW this time the finger is raised. And it is the end of Short, and Richardson finally gets an LBW. He maybe should have got one. Short's gone for 16, 135 for 6 after 18 overs. Michael Carberry.
I have to admit, I thought the batsman got a little bit of a touch on that. I wasn't too sure. That I mean, if he hadn't hit it, he's hit that.
Oops-a-daisy.
That's the old make-up decision, isn't it?
Well, I wondered because The first one,
is a shocker.
You couldn't really see how the first one wasn't given, and the second one, the ball flies away down towards the boundary, and still the finger gets raised. But short has gone. LBW for 16. The debate about DRS will continue. What I'm struggling to get my head around, and I do struggle on these things often in life, Michael Carberry, but what I'm struggling is people talk about the cost of it, but we, as viewers, we can already see how wrong some of these decisions are. So why, if the technology is already there, does it mean extra cost? That bit I can't get my head around. And I'm sorry to bang on about this, because I really don't like it when people have a go at umpires, especially because they are always giving of their best. They hate it more than anybody if they get wrong decisions. They, I think, would love the use of the technology. Well, that's high. It's a full toss. It's hit in the air. Will it get a better of the fielder out in the deep? No, it won't. This is Swarrell, by the way, who's the new batsman, but it's Rashid who's facing there. And it's Ty bowling, and it's going to be a free hit for a no ball. Well, it's all going off out there at the moment. At the start of this 19th over, it's the second over of the power surge, and at the moment Rashid Khan, whether he's directly involved or not, if he's out there, there's things happening, and that's what we've got at the moment. The score 135 for 6, no ball, so it's a free hit.
Yeah, not ideal from Andrew Ty. He's really struggled tonight to sort of find his range with his variations and general hitting of the pitch. Let's see what Rashid Khan's got for us here.
Delivery again, it's wide-ish, it's in the air, and it falls just a couple of yards short of the fielder coming in off the boundary, so they will get just a single off that free hit in the end.
But on your point with the umpires, I think, look, it's there to obviously help them. You got to remember, on the same token, their mistakes also cost guys their careers as well. So I think you're trying to get the right decision. It's a bit strange in modern times why the DRS is not available.
139 for 6. We're in this 19th over, and Worrell faces his first delivery. Ty bowls, and that's driven along the ground out towards the cover boundary, and it's a single, so Worrell is off the mark, and it means the strikers have moved to 140 for 6.
And if it isn't available, then surely it's a worthwhile investment to be made, isn't it? To make sure, as I say, you're making, these are world tournaments now. This is, it's not, BBL's been around a long time now. I think you want the best possible product you can make.
And Ty again in the bowls, looking for a bit of width. The old helicopter shot again has gone straight this time. The fielder's chasing it. Will it fall for... Oh, just over the rope. Two fielders running as hard and as fast as they could. It always just got the better of them, and it got the better of the rope in the end. Oh, is a delight to watch. What a wonderful performance tonight in so many ways. I tell you, as and when he's got a spare 5 minutes he wants to take part in Strictly, I think he's the man, because the way he just moves his body, whips that away.
The pose.
Terrific.
Beware the man on one leg, I always believe. He's a dangerous cricketer, the one on one leg. It's been proven over many years.
Wasn't that a joy? 140 for 6. The umpire just needed clarification. It was a 6. And it was 146 for 6 now, the score actually on the confirmation. That'll clear the boundary. Ty does not look a happy man, and he's bowling to Rashid, who's on 23 from 11 deliveries. Next delivery, well, he's going to be even less happy now, Ty, because that's a wide.
Yeah, again, I mean, it's just ragged cricket from Andrew Ty. I mean, someone, very experienced at this level. I mean, look, Rashid Khan plays that shot off you and gets away with it. As I say, he's just got to shake him by the hand. But I am a little bit confused by some of the tactics. They seem to get a little bit scared from one shot by going back on that length.
Ty to Rashid again, looking for that certain length. Oh, that's been given a wide. So I'm feeling every now and then I'm just feeling a bit for the bowlers, because this is now just an accepted part of T20 cricket. Oh, well, looking at that, I mean, these are marginal decisions which...
I'm sorry, Kev.
You're going wide.
I have to say that's wide. I think that's just poor bowling. I think poor thinking on the part of the captain and the bowler. I think someone like Ash Turner has got to say to Andrew Ty, look, mate, that was a hell of a shot. shake him by the hand. Let's see him try and do it again.
He looks grumpy. Let's see if it works as a positive for him or not. Not quite so wide there. Another helicopter. It's not going to... Has it cleared the rope? I think it has again. See, so what you see, a lot of this helicopter shot, you see people whipping the ball away on the leg side or maybe over the... But these are straight. It's a wonder to watch from Rashid Khan with another 6, which has gone 88 metres. He's moved to 29, and it's 154 for 6.
Yeah, I agree. It's a hell of a shot, Kev. But look where his two fielders are. They're up in the circle. So the field really set for shorter length bowling.
Tie in again. It's a full toss. This time it's in the air. Will there be a catch towards extra cover? Yes, and Jason Roy has taken it. Well, this is a wonderful breakthrough, much needed for the Scorchers, but for the rest of us, drat it is what I say, because I was loving that. But they're all going to come in to try and congratulate Ty, and he doesn't want any of it because he's not enjoyed this over, really, has he? He really hasn't. But Rashid has gone for 29. It's 154 for 7. One ball left to the 19th over, and Rashid Khan, you can come back again, young lad. You're brilliant. Corduroy bow tie.
Yeah, it was fantastic ball strike. Just what was required, as we said. You know, the strikers in his needed injection of pace, and boy, did Rashid Khan provide it. Aided by some, you would say, some confused bowling from the Scorchers. Not really, again, having that plan, knowing what they're trying to achieve out there. It seems all very confused. The bowler wants to bowl a certain delivery, but the field isn't suggesting what he's trying to bowl. So hopefully now to get back to some normality.
Possibly so. The body language suggests, on the back of what you're telling us as well, Carbs, that Ty is not necessarily... Well, he's not happy with the umpiring. He doesn't look as if he's happy with the field setting. He's just not happy, is he?
Well, I mean, I could say. I mean, you could say yes. It's tight. It's on the line. I think certainly one of those wides were definitely wide. It was too wide. But also, you know, Andrew Ty's got to remember. You know, again, where I say it before, I'm going to sound like a broken record. Where's the biggest boundary? Straight.
Worrell is on strike. Last ball of this 19th over, and the power surge. Worrell can't get that one away. It's out onto the onside. And that is the end of the over, and he's still having a discussion here, is Ty, with the umpire. 2 for 38 off 3 overs. That maybe a little bit of the backstory to this, Carbs, is the fact that there was a dreadful decision which went against him in his last game, and perhaps that's still figuring in his mind. 155 for 7 after 19 overs. Briggs and Worrell are the not-out pair. Ty 2 for 38 after 3 overs. I know what you rightly would say, and that is that, of course, with his experience, you park that up somewhere and you deal with it mentally at another time, not when you're out in the middle. But you know, human beings, I guess it can be tough.
I think what he's upset about is the fact that Rashid Khan was slightly walking across, so therefore the wide line, I think, gets taken out of the equation to some degree. But the fact the umpire was still calling him for wides, I think that's what his biggest gripe is.
Last over, 155 for 7. Worrell on 2. Does well there because he has to sort of skip out of the way of it, play it square on the offside. Ball is dragged back in. 2 fielders relay, not so much a throw, but a relay roll of the ball along the ground, and then another one comes along and helps out. That's 3 of them there retrieving the ball, and the score moves on to 158 for 7. You never give up on that ball, do you? You
Absolutely.
Never give up.
Absolutely, every run counts at this stage.
I think that's Ty who's just taken it. Oh, and then Livingston, they're all having a go. The ball is just pulled back. He'd got the umpire in his mind there. He was running after that saying, this is the umpire, I'm going to grab hold of you and pull you back in, and he did. So he saved a boundary. The score's 158 for 7. 5 balls left of this innings. Richardson tries to look calm on a slightly breezy evening at the Adelaide Oval, and he's going to bowl to Danny Briggs. Briggs in the action. Comes across his stumps. It's down the leg side, underarm throw back to the bowler. Well, Briggs sort of moved inside that and sort of just fly past his leg stump.
Not sure about that one. He did move inside the line there. Yeah, these umpires, it's a tough gig for umpires. You know, let's be clear to the viewers. It's not an easy job trying to judge things at such a high pace.
It isn't, and I'm pleased you've said that, but again, maybe a bit harsh, that decision. 5 balls left of this innings, and that one's again gone in the same area. And underarm throw back towards the bowler. Yeah, he moved aside. Now that ball, you know, it was. I mean, it ended up looking very wide. But anyway, the score is what it is, and it's Richardson, along with everybody else, trying to make the most of a game which can be frenetic at times, and we love it for the fact that it is. And the umpires themselves have to keep a cool head out there, with Briggs yet to get off the mark. Bat raised as Richardson bowls to him now, again looking for that leg stump. It comes off the pads, rolls away into the offside for one more to the total. So we're over the 150 mark now. We're up to 159 for 7. We've got 4 balls, 160 for 7, beg your pardon. We've got 3 balls left of this 20th over. Worrell on 5. They got off to such a cracking start, but you know, this score here, well, it's certainly looking reasonable. Rashid Khan, some of the key players in this, Mitch Marsh in terms of turning the story around. Mitch Marsh putting it back a bit with his bowling, then Rashid Khan with some sublime shots. From where he got those shots, I don't know, but they were wonderful to watch, and he's given a bit of impetus which really the strikers needed. Worrell is on 5. Next delivery faces from Richardson, driven along the ground up towards mid-on. They'll come back for 2. Left arm throw. They'll make their ground. Yes, I think he does safely enough in the end.
Good sprinting from Briggs there.
Yeah.
To get the man Worrell, who we know he can strike a long ball. I believe his nickname's Frankie Worrell.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very fine ball striker. So good for Danny Briggs to get him back on strike, try and see what he can do off these last 2 balls.
I think it was this pair that actually gave the strikers a little bit of hope in a game that they seemed lost in. They ended up losing it right at the beginning of the campaign, so they're used to being out there together. Worrell will get a single to mid-off. He moves to 8, and the score up to 163 for 7. 1 ball left of the 20th over. That Trent Woodhill tweet that Henry was talking about, it was backed up by what we saw from Rashid Khan when he did come out to bat, because he can get things going towards that 10 over mark, the 10 over mark being important for the 1 point. Only time will tell how important these 1 points picked up now and then will be come the big shakedown, of course. But Briggs will face the last ball of the innings. He's yet to get off the mark. That's down the leg side, and the umpire running a million miles out of the way of it. They'll go through for 1 run as well off that. We're just waiting for confirmation. That's got to be a leg side wide, hasn't it? 165 for 7. Unless the umpire was thinking more about getting out of the way of things, but no, I think it has been.
Get off the pitch.
Yeah. Look, it's tough. It's tough. Things move very, very quickly for them, and that's why many people, myself included, just calling for as much help and assistance as can be given. So, will this be the last ball? It's Worrell on strike. He's on 8. Next delivery, lifted high over mid-wicket and caught on the boundary. And that's Hardy who takes the catch, and it means after 20 overs, 165 for 8. Worrell is the man out for 8, and it completes a fascinating, very interesting innings. That it's only 20 overs, Michael Carberry, but it had a bit of everything, didn't it? Those 20 overs, terrific to watch, really interesting.
Absolutely. You'd say cracking start. It looked as though we were on for maybe a 200 plus score. The Scorchers came back into it. I think Mitch Marsh was fantastic, dragging it back, only going for 14 runs in his 4 overs. Picking up some vital wickets. We saw great innings from Phil Salt. It was great to see him, English import, finally getting his tournament off and running. And then the fireworks, the pyrotechnics from Rashid Khan, aka MS Dhoni in disguise. Brilliant.
It was brilliant, wasn't it? I do tend to get a bit carried away sometimes, Carbs, but I think I had every right to be so on that occasion, because it's the way that these shots seem so effortless, and all in the movement of the wrists and the body and the confidence. As I say, they're actually, never mind where the ball ends up, they're a joy just to watching themselves. It's a sort of shot that needs to be put to music every now and then. But you're coming out, you're chasing this target, you're confident. What you're thinking if you're coming out to try and chase this total down?
Yeah, absolutely. I think from a Scorchers point of view, I think you have to see that. I think the Scorchers would think that the Strikers were probably 30 runs short from the start that they had, so it was great for them to be able to peg it back. I think they should be buoyed by the fact that they've got a lot more firepower in their batting ranks now. Obviously, Jason Roy and Liam Livingstone has come into the squad to bolster the batting, so you've got a lot more firepower and depth in that squad. So it's a good wicket, I think, overall. There's not been any demons. Looks like you can play through the line, and if you're prepared to hit straight, you can also score as well. So I think they should fancy themselves. They should fancy their chances. It would do them good to get some confidence, chasing down some runs. I think the batting has some questions to answer.
Jason Roy and Liam Livingstone not only spending a lot of time having room service in hotels but not playing cricket. It will be a challenge for them. We know what they're capable of. We know why they're such exciting signings for the team, but to ask of them straight away tonight, quite a big challenge and ask of them.
Yeah, it will be, but I think, look, you're talking to a guy who's won a World Cup, in Jason Roy, who's been around international cricket now for 3 or 4 years and has been one of the key catalysts for England's success at the top of the order. So you'd think the pressure is something now that he'd be very much accustomed to. I don't think it will faze him too much. I mean, Liam Livingstone strikes me as quite a free-spirited sort of cricketer, someone again who's had a go with England, so again he's used to that sort of under spotlight pressure. I think these guys now are accustomed to it, moving from tournament to tournament, franchise to franchises. You know, it's just a quick shift in mindset, and sometimes the fact 2020 can bring the best out of you. You don't have to think too much. It's just a case of see ball, hit ball.
Plenty for Sussex supporters to cheer in the Adelaide Strikers batting tonight. Phil Salt with his 51 of 31 deliveries, 4 fours, 4 sixes. Jake Weatherald made 18, Alex Carey 15, Matt Renshaw 3, Jonathan Wells 7, Matthew Short 16. The other Sussex success, Rashid Khan with his 29 of 13 balls, 1 4 and 3 sixes. Dan Worrell made 8, he was out on the last ball of the innings. Danny Briggs faced a couple of deliveries, failed to score with the bat. There were some extras there, but extras 18 in total, 4 leg byes, 1 no ball and 13 wides. Some of them we agreed with, some of them we didn't. 165 for 8. The bowling, Jason Behrendorff 3 overs for 23 runs, Jai Richardson 4 overs 3 for 30. Andrew Tye feeling a bit grumpy tonight, 3 overs 2 for 38. Fawad Ahmed 4 overs, no wickets for 37. Mitchell Marsh, we talked about him, made a big impact, 4 overs 2 for 14, fit to bowl again. And Aaron Hardy 2 overs, no wicket for 19. So it's 165 for 8 the score after the 20 overs. After 10 overs, which is of note, 79 for 1. So many thanks to Michael Carberry. We'll be back with Carbs and with Henry in the next 10 minutes or so. But for the past few days, we've been hearing from our friend from ABC, Jim Maxwell, in this part of the programme, as part of a series of interviews celebrating test match specials, friends across the globe. In the third part of this episode, Voices of the World, Jim talks to Jonathan Agnew about being invited to join the TMS team for commentary duties. So, does Jim find it any different joining the TMS team than commentating on home soil for ABC?
Historically, working on Test match special, I think if I'm deeply analytical of the way I broadcast cricket, it changed me a lot. It made me realise that it is a game, and I had the confidence sitting alongside whoever it was to offer an opinion, to have an exchange in the way that I never did before, because I felt a little intimidated and overawed by, well, McGilvray to a large extent, but Lindsay Hassett. I mean, yes. it was tough working with him, not because he wasn't friendly, but because he played in an era I'd never seen. No. He was obviously a very skillful player and excellent captain and all those things. So there was a sense of reverence, I suppose, about those that were older than me when I started. And as I grew in my confidence about doing the broadcast, I realised that I didn't have to be taking it seriously all the time. And And the people who helped me enormously in that regard as time went on were, of course, Kerry O'Keefe,
yes,
and to an extent Peter Roebuck. But I think a more relaxed style came about because of the influence of Test Match Special.
I'm going to get
There we go.
little help.
You want a bit of help?
Yes,
Yes,
I'd love
please,
a bit
Jim.
of help, Jim.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll
It
do
could
a
be the
duet.
last one of the series.
We'll
Come
do
on,
a
Jim.
duet. This will be a unique duet. You ready?
Okay.
But radio for long wave listeners are leaving us briefly for the shipping forecast.
It's my favourite part of the day.
When you're the visitor and you walk into the home broadcasting box, if you like, there's a bit of pressure on, isn't there? Don't you think? Because you are talking to people here know you now like the back of your hand, and hopefully people in Australia feel the same way about me. But you are, to start with, you are a bit of a visitor, don't you think? There's a bit of pressure on to get it right.
Yes, there is, but it's hard to actually to explain this. But I also think I think my broadcast probably changed since I had a stroke in 2016, and I think my attitude to life has probably changed a bit.
Yeah.
So I won't say I'm carefree, but I'm not as concerned as much about what I say in terms of making a mistake than I was before. You have to go through this period of your life, if it happens, where all of a sudden you have a sense of your mortality.
Yeah.
It's very hard to explain, but I think that's changed me to an extent. I hope it hasn't changed me for the worse in terms of the broadcast and the reception I might get because of my delivery and attitude. But I think my friends tell me, and I've got to believe some of them. You get joshed by all your friends, don't you?
Yeah.
They keep saying to me, "Your broadcasting sounds better now than it ever did." When I hint to them, it's about time I gave away to some of these young blokes. Oh, no, don't do that. They'll be right. You're a cricket broadcaster. Think of Brian Johnson. He was still doing it at 80 or something.
Yeah. How did you? The stroke was clearly a dreadful thing to happen to anybody, or awful. And you obviously see what a stroke does to people. But yet, on the other hand, you've still got your voice, and so often the voice clearly is what's affected and possibly forever by the result of a stroke. And yet you've still got your delivery. I mean, do you, on the one hand, clearly curse the ill fortune of having a stroke, which probably prevents you playing your golf now that you loved and so on, but you can still speak properly and you still sound just about the same old Jim.
Hazelwood comes in. Overton's in on the
it's out.
pad. How is that?
That's
LBW.
out.
He's reviewing it though. Overton's going to review it, so this game is not all over yet. It's missed the edge of the bat, and if it's clipping the bails, that'll be enough for Australia to have taken this final wicket. We're looking at the buttons now, and
it's hitting.
It's out, and it's all over.
Decision out.
Australia have won this game by 185 runs. They're all hugger-mugger out there. Delighted to have retained the Ashes in what has been an extraordinary campaign.
Yeah, well, it's given me a sort of a sense of purpose, I suppose. The fact that I've been able to keep doing what I've done for so long. So I've been fortunate in that regard. I went to a speech therapist while I was in rehab from the stroke. And after about 4 or 5 sessions, she said, well, I can't do any more for you. I'll have to move on to the next patient because as far as I can see, no matter what tricks I try and play to make you trip up and make a mistake, I'm not going anywhere. So that was very encouraging, I have to say. But it's, I don't know, it's rejuvenated me in some way. Having had that experience, even though, I still have the legacy of a a lack of movement on my right side, and I'm trying to play golf, but it's a little bit of a struggle. But like so many things that can happen to you, you think, well, it could have been worse. Yeah. Here I am. I can do what I'm able to do, and carry on. So I'm very fortunate in that regard when I think about the alternative to it at the time, because it was a pretty rough moment. And it was actually while I was broadcasting that I had the stroke, which was kind of, for what it's worth, makes it even more memorable as something that happens in your life that is a sort of trigger point or whatever. So, look, I'm very fortunate.
Button on the app, where you'll find so much more from TMS as well. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. My name is Henry Moran, and this is Big Bash League commentary for you in that funny period between Christmas and New Year. It is just past 10 in the morning, or coming up to 10 past 10 in the morning in the UK. And the floodlights are shining brightly in Adelaide, where we've got an interesting game, I think it's fair to say, between the Strikers and the thus far winless Perth Scorchers. 166 will be the target for the Scorchers to chase down and get their first victory of the series. But I think the key for them is the fact that they have two big English imports in their lineup today for the first time in the tournament, in Jason Roy and Liam Livingston. Michael Carberry, former Scorchers man, is alongside me as we see in front of us the blue-clad Adelaide Strikers fielders running to the middle with the fireworks going off. And we would, I think, probably be fairest saying it is a mediocre total, but nothing more than that. It's okay.
Yeah, it's a competitive total, you would say. You think if someone like Jason Roy can get going and firing early on, he should make relatively light work of this total. But look, it's not plain sailing. The Adelaide Strikers got some fine bowlers in their attack. The likes of Rashid Khan, Peter Siddle, Danny Briggs, who's been around, has won T20 tournaments with Hampshire. Very experienced in this form of the game. Dan Worrell again is someone who's making his name in the game as well. Very fine swing bowler with good control. So it's not going to be easy. And remember, this Perth batting Scorchers lineup, it's not full of confidence. It's not been going great in this BBL today so far. So there'll be some fragile minds, particularly if the Strikers make early inroads.
Inglis is going to face the first ball of the innings. Jason Roy, long sleeves at the non-strikers end. He has played previously with the Sydney Sixers, a BBL career strike rate of 137. He's yet to score a Big Bash League 50, so he's not exactly had the best time of it in the time that he's had with the Sixers in previous editions of the competition. He'll be looking to turn that round as he wears the orange of the Scorchers for the first time. Inglis is only averaging 6.66 so far in the tournament. He's not been tearing up any trees in the 4 matches thus far, but he knows that with the bolstering and support from Livingston and Roy around him, perhaps the pressure's off him just a little bit, and that'll free him up a touch. Yeah,
absolutely. And interesting enough, the Strikers captain not opting to start with Danny Briggs, knowing that Jason Roy is not the best starter against spin bowling. He's had his struggles against spin bowling. I'm surprised that they're opening up with the seam bowling early on and not starting with the spinner, but let's see how we go.
Yep, Dan Worrell leading the charge for the Strikers. He's taken 5 wickets in the tournament so far, and he's going to bowl right arm over to the right-handed Inglis with a slip in place, worked into the leg side immediately, and 1 run is taken. A second is going to be pushed for as Siddle will pick up and throw, and they get 2 as well. That's good running to get the scoreboard moving. 2 without loss.
Yeah, lovely start. Frank Royal just erring a little bit too straight, not really shaping at this stage, and this is what the Scorchers batsmen have to do: show some intent, be aggressive, really try and put these strikers, bowlers under pressure. As we saw in the strikers innings, they really put the Perth Scorchers bowlers under some early pressure.
Worrell, former Melbourne Stars man, has 2 slips in place. There's a swing and a miss from Inglis. He chases a wide one, just a little bit of a way shape. You'll get that early on, but not for terribly long with this white Kookaburra ball.
I think this bloke is a very, very underrated but very, very good bowler, Dan Raw. I've faced him in my last year of BBL, and he's very skillful. He can get the ball to go both ways if the conditions are right. I remember a spell against us where he took some wickets and he took a 4-fer and swung the ball prodigiously.
He's moving into bowl to Inglis, deep in the crease. It's short, and this time goes for an expansive cut once again through to the gloves of Alex Carey, and there is no run. Worrell played 3 ODIs for Australia back in tour of South Africa in 2016, but hasn't been given more opportunity than that for the international side. He's one of those players that's been very effective in Big Bash League cricket against the world's best as well, so he can do it. And he's moving in now. Sweatband on his left wrist, charging in, better connection this time, and that's going to fly to the boundary. That's a really good shot from Inglis. Up on his toes, clattering it away, met by silence from the Adelaide Oval, and it's 6 without loss.
It's a very partisan crowd at the Adelaide Oval. They only see blue, it's fair to say, but what a great shot from Inglis. That'll be doing the world of good. Needs some runs. Been short of runs in this tournament so far.
Worrell to Inglis once again, and this time just dabbed down towards short third man, and there is no run. It's funny actually, it's the first time almost in franchise cricket that we've heard in the last 12 months no noise, because in the IPL we had the fake sound effects that were cheering every boundary regardless, and in these matches we got the crowd in, and first innings they were cheering the runs being scored, but because there's no response, normally if this was the sort of fake crowd noise there'd be cheers for that boundary, but just silence.
Yeah.
Here comes Worrell, right arm over to finish the first over, bang on the money, defended by Inglis, 6 without loss.
It has a stark resemblance to my time at Kent,
right,
which I loved. I loved my 3 years at Kent, and the Kent faithful were very, very one-eyed. The opposition hit runs, you wouldn't hear a clap. I loved it.
Yeah, that is proper support, isn't it?
That's proper support, that's it.
What's the most intimidating place you played? You're thinking, you would have presumably played venue Adelaide Oval in your time, in the Big Bash League.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, every sector you go to, I mean, it's has their support. I would say, certainly Strikers was a good place to play, quite an intimidating place. Obviously, you go to the G, it's massive amphitheatre, all decked out in green. That was also a good experience as well. But I love the Furnace. The Furnace was no better place to play than the Furnace, wasn't it?
Extraordinary venue for. It just seems to generate a new life with Big Bash cricket as Peter Siddle starts and bowls to Jason Roy, whose first ball in the Perth Scorchers colours is defended into the ground, and there's no run.
You love Peter Siddle.
Yeah, well, he sort of bears a sort of passing resemblance to Annie Lennox all of a sudden. Sort of bleached blonde hair, very short, and he's still going though. Siddle, he's still a very effective cricketer. But as we more in a moment, he's coming in now. Still that slip waiting, and Roy pulls the ball into the leg side. That much control will pick up 1 out to deep mid wicket for a single to see his Scorchers tally up and running. And it is 7 without loss. But the WACA as a BBL venue, because of the time difference and the match is being played sort of afternoon rather than evening, because to keep the television schedule to have that consistency, it generated this amazing sort of that heat. It was a heat and sort of aggression. I mean, you'll be able to tell us more in a moment as we wait for Siddle to move in. And the sun's setting in Adelaide. He's into Inglis. He's whipping the ball away behind square for 4 runs. It's a brilliant shot. Up on one leg. And no chance for the fielder to cut it off, and again, no noise from the crowd. 11 without loss. People talk about that Furnace experience. What's it like?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, as an Englishman growing up, watching cricket from Australia, you've heard about this legendary whacker wicket, the faster, pacey, bouncy whacker wicket, and to get that privilege to bat on it so many times.
Inglis goes for a ramp, lovely shot once again, clears the infield, clears the rope as well, over the fine leg boundary. Worrell's job is a pure retrieval as a shake of the head from Peter Siddle, and I think it'll be signal 6. I'm sure it will be. They're just going to double check it. He gave himself room, the batsman, helped it on its way, and just over the ropes. 6 runs, 17 without loss.
Great innovation from Josh Inglis, getting inside the line and just whipping that over square leg boundary for 6, using the pace of Peter Siddle. I think in those situations as a bowler, you just have to nod and walk back to your mark. Great innovation.
17 without loss, defended this time. There is no run. So first time you walk out there.
Yeah, it was tough. As I said, I don't think the crowd initially were enthralled by my signing, having been thumped in the Ashes 5-0 the previous year. But I guess as performances came, they grew to love me, I suppose. And I was there at the end at the final, winning the trophy. So
Siddle to Inglis, Fuller defended into the offside, and there's no run.
But yeah, as a place to play, I mean, it was fantastic to bat on. I mean, the wicket was right up my alley, being a back foot player. But I just loved the atmosphere, the build up towards the games. Everyone's around the city, everyone's decked out in orange. All the kids come up to you if you've had a good knock. I remember going to the shop to get something for my mum, and someone spotted me having had a good knock the night before, and they were still decked out. I think they were still just leaving the ground, still decked out in their Scorchers gear. It was just fantastic. I think the way the Cricket Australia market the game as well, there's a lot of fan and player engagement. We have to do our duties, our press engagements as well, which is great.
Third over starts with a wallop from Jason Roy, and that's going to be his first boundary for the Perth Scorchers. Just that cross-batted slap we've come to know and love from the England opener, and he smacks it through the leg side for 4 runs, 21 without loss.
This is where Jason Roy is dangerous. He's taking someone like Frankie Worrell, Dan Worrell, off that good length and just powering him through. You say a straight mid-wicket, baseball style. That's Jason Roy's area.
It was just disdainfully, just get away from me. It was a fly over your picnic, wasn't it?
Swat.
Here comes Worrell again. Roy on strike. Again looking to hit hard. This time down the ground. It'll be 4 more. He doesn't bother running. It hits the rope. Smacks into a famous colonel you'll see quite a lot around the Big Bash League on the advertising signs. And another boundary for Roy. He's 9. Not out.
Those dancing feet of Jason Roy. This is where he's real dangerous, when he's got the bit between his teeth. He targets his bowlers, uses that power. He's got a fantastic eye, Jason Roy. Very, very picks up length so quickly.
Roy, long sleeves. 25 without loss in the third over. 141 needed from 106. That's the equation. Roy this time in the air. Has he got enough on it for runs? I think he probably does. He's got 6. It wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. He looks at the pitch and thinks, well, that's leapt up at me. And somehow he's managed to get it over the fine leg boundary for 6. 31 without loss.
It's a great contest, isn't it? England opener Jason Roy, top of his game. Dan Worrell been slapped down the ground, not having it. Typical Aussie response, short ball. Jason Roy probably a little bit late on it, I would say. He didn't quite get the hands extended for the full pull shot. Got a little bit onto him a little bit quicker than he thought.
Worrell to Roy. Oh, feels for one outside the off stump that flies through to the keeper. Worrell looks menacingly at Jason Roy and says, well, that one was mine. I won that one.
Yeah, run down at that one then.
It's a beauty. 31
good
without
pace
loss.
as well. 143 kilometres an hour. I think, I say this guy is a good bowler. I think it was maybe why he slipped under the radar when he first played for Australia. He wasn't, I don't remember him bowling that sort of pace. He was very skillful though, and I was at international level. You need probably a little bit more pace.
Roy waiting, driving through the offside. It's a brilliant shot from Jason Roy. Again, it's that just punch, cross-batted little push through the offside, 4 more.
I always felt that, when Jason Roy's batting at his best is when he's not trying to overhit the ball sometimes. You get a sense he's really trying to muscle the ball. But when he stands tall on top of the bounce, you've seen him here time and time again here for Surrey. He just looks a wonderful player, and we've seen this many a time, obviously, in his England career as well.
35 without loss. Roy on 19 from 7, swinging. Well, he did try and hit that one hard. He tried to hit it out of Adelaide. Misses, and the over concludes, but a good over. And well ahead of where the strikers were at this point. The Perth Scorchers looking for their first win in the tournament. 35 without loss, and there's key numbers to keep an eye on in all of this, of course, because we've got the Bash boost point available after 10 overs, so they need to have passed 79 for 1. That's where the strikers were. They're in good shape for that at the moment. The current run rate stands at a little over 11.5 and over, so there's certainly...
They're on.
They're on it, yeah, no question about it. Do you still feel a sort of loyalty to the Scorchers when you watch Big Bash cricket?
Well, I mean, it's hard not to, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'd be surprised.
My blood is orange and black. What can I say?
I'd be surprised if you did, because these, as you say, you sort of do get that engagement with fans, don't you? And
absolutely, I loved my time there. It was fantastic.
Wes Agar into the attack to bowl to Inglis. Oh, bowled. Tried to play that ramp shot again, misses, and Agar strikes with his first ball. Inglis goes 16 from 11, and the first wicket falls, 35 for 1.
Yeah, good bowling for Wes Agar coming on. Not really sure he needed to do that at this stage. I mean, Jason Roy had, taken down that previous over. I think they were going nicely at 11.6 and over, but tend to be the way of these modern batsmen. If I'm going well, I'm going to keep going. It was a bit of a shame for Joss Inglis, another start which he hasn't been able to really capitalise on, and first wicket down for the Scorchers.
Yeah, trudges off Inglis, slams his kit down as Munro comes to the middle. It's not Liam Livingstone, who was down on the card to be batting at 3, but instead Munro joins.
Right hand, left hand.
Yeah, that's the thinking. Joins Jason Roy in the middle.
Yeah, but getting back to your point, my time at the Scorchers, remember a lot of these guys have become lifelong friends. We achieved something very special together, where I don't think a lot of people gave us a chance of winning that tournament, and we did, and it was fantastic. You live the experience, you grow together for 6 or 7 weeks, and these guys have become lifelong friends. Still in contact with some of them now. It's great to see them out there doing their thing.
Wes Agar moving in to bowl to the left-handed Munro, who's defending, no run. There's that slip back for the new man, and he's up and running with a confident-looking defensive shot. 35 for 1 is the score.
Yeah, I think in the overview, it was a bit of an unnecessary shot from Inglis. Probably, especially to Agar just coming on first ball, maybe just have a look, but doesn't tend to be the way of modern batsmen.
Former Sydney Sixers man Munro is waiting for Agar and trying to go for the big Evo into the leg side. Gets a bottom edge, drops through to Carey.
They don't waste time, these boys, do they? I love it. It's the way batting's going now. Hey, one look, one ball, next ball, trying to whack you over square leg.
Agar frustrated it wasn't a second wicket. Munro yet to get off the mark. 131 needed from 99 balls. This has been a good over. Munro driving, good shot into the offside, but well stopped by Rashid Khan, who throws at the non-striker's end, misses. Roy almost runs himself out looking for that opportunity of a run, and problem perhaps here for Rashid Khan. He's grabbing that right wrist because the ball has hit it really hard. He's got, we know, the hamstring trouble that potentially could have ruled him out of this game, but stopping the ball on the bounce in the covers.
Yeah, they hit you on the old drumstick, that point at just the base of the thumb. Yeah, it's not nice. He's been in the wars, Rashid Khan, hasn't he, this last few days.
Munro yet to score. 35 for 1 the score remains. He won't get a run there because it stopped a backward point. What an over this has been from Agar. The wicket 5 dots.
Yeah, very similar to the Mitch Marsh spell, really, wasn't he? He's not been too clever. He's just generally bowled at fuller length, top of the stumps. He's got rewarded with the wicket. Hasn't been tried to be too clever. Interesting to see how Munro looks to move him off length.
I'm going to ask at the end of this over a question about Jason Roy and red ball cricket. Just stand by for that. Munro, as Agar into him, looking to get the run on the leg side. He will do so as well. He'll get 1 run, so he'll keep the strike at the start of the next over as Wells throws in. 36 for 1 after 4. 1 run, 1 wicket off Agar's first over. You see Jason Roy coming in here. New ball moving a little bit of a way shape. It's not a completely flat track, and he's smacking it all over the place. Should he, from a very simplistic point of view, when he played and opened for England in Test cricket, would he not have been better employed just to try and, not quite that aggressive, but just play his natural game rather than try and sort of get in and play a Test innings?
I think that's what England hoped for, but look, remember, Test cricket is a very different game. Slips and gully are in a lot longer in a Test match versus you virtually see hardly any catches behind the stumps in a T20 game. And Jason Roy's setup is ideal for white ball cricket. Something goes very hard at the ball and likes to plant his feet. He's very, one of the best ball strikers going around the modern game. In Test cricket, it's more game of concentration, being able to leave the ball, especially being a Test opener. You need to be able to leave the ball and have a good defensive technique, which, Jason Roy, look at his setup for red ball cricket. He struggles to sometimes hit the ball straight down the ground. He does play across the ball, tend to play across the ball sometimes. He's not the best when the ball is moving around.
Rashid Khan, oh, beauty immediately. LBW shout. No, says the umpire. Rashid Khan can't believe it. Munro got in a bit of a pickle. The crowd don't like it. The umpires have had a tough time of it today. And it's a smiling Rashid Khan that strolls up and says, well, what was wrong with that?
Yeah, I think just pitching outside leg stump, I would say. But from some of the ones we've seen given...
including an LBW that came off the face of the bat earlier on today. Rashid Khan in again. Munro gets hold of this into the leg side. 1 bounce 4. Flies behind square, and Peter Siddle has to get the ball from somebody in the crowd. Rashid Khan, who, it has to be said, benefited from a very poor decision earlier on where the ball hit him.
It was extraordinary, wasn't it?
In front of middle, very low on the pad.
Absolutely extraordinary. Look, you feel for the umpires in that situation. Obviously, look, no one likes to see a poor decision. It's very easy to get on the back of the umpires, but it was a very poor decision.
Yeah! Oh, well, that's an absolute cracker. Outside edge, surely. Khan celebrating. Yeah, Munro goes, and he does get his man. A beauty drifted across the batsman. And Rashid Khan strikes in his first over, 40 for 2.
Yeah, it looked like the wrong and not picked by Munro. Just left the bat hanging out to dry there. And Rashid, who Jenny bowls the ball quite quickly into the surface, and that was just a regulation nick. And Munro, he didn't really hang around, did he? He just trudged off. No, he'd been done. Great bowling from Rashid Khan.
That was a classic Rashid Khan dismissal, wasn't it? It's the one the batsman doesn't pick. It's that little bit quicker as well. It finds a healthy edge, and the keeper does well behind the stumps. 40 for 2 then, 126 needed from 93 deliveries. In between innings, when we went to grab a cup of coffee, we were talking about the umpiring dilemma and the challenges that Kevin quite rightly says umpires have a very difficult job, but DRS isn't there to make umpires look foolish. It's there for the integrity of the game. And actually, had that Rashid Khan decision been able to be overturned, then perhaps we wouldn't have seen the LBW's decision that was wrong later on in that same over. And so actually, these are peak players' careers, as you say, that are on the line.
Yeah, absolutely. It's there to help. It's there to aid. It was there to take out the shocker, wasn't it? Which you'd say that was it. Classic case scenario. The fact that it's not available is very strange for a tournament of this magnitude.
Liam Livingstone into the Perth Scorchers side and immediately picking up a run, working it out towards square leg for a single. It'll bring Jason Roy to strike to face Rashid Khan. 41 for 2. Liam Livingstone having scored 425 runs for the Scorchers last year. Their leading run scorer. He's done his quarantine, as has Jason Roy, and he's playing in this game. Roy, 19 from 8.
And this would be a good matchup here. Rashid Khan against Jason Roy. Said Jason Roy's not the best against spin.
Rashid Khan into him. He's striding forward, trying to negate the spin if he can. Works the ball into the leg side for 1. And there's 2 balls. 1 ball left to the over, I should say. 42 for 2.
Yeah, it would have been aided that he's got some runs at least off the seamers before the spins come on, so he'd be looking again to target straight down the ground. Very, very adept ball striker.
Oh, nice.
Rashid Khan bowls to Liam Livingston. 1 taken down the ground. They're pushing hard for the first, thinking about 2. It's not there though. And the over concludes. So 5 overs gone, 43 for 2 is the score. 123 runs needed off 90 balls. We're going to give you a little break now, Carb, so you get the chance to join us for the final 10 overs of the game. And Kevin Howes is back with us. And Kevin, it is an interesting debate, isn't it? The umpiring one. It'll continue rumbling on. But I think Michael's point of, this is a major tournament, and major tournaments now do have all of these mod cons, if you like, of DRS and things. And it seems surprising that the BBL doesn't.
I saw your tweet about it, Henry, and I almost lost my footing on reading the power of your tweet, saying that if it wants to hold its own in world franchise competitions, this big bash, that it has to have DRS, because it makes it all look a little bit daft and a little bit silly. I do see things through the umpires' thinking rather than the players at times, and I think they too would really like some help and some assistance, because this game is quick, this game is fast. You're asking a lot of questions. The players, they've moved across their stumps, therefore is that a wide, is that not a wide, all those things. Now of course they're up to it, and the best will shine in terms of umpiring and officials, but any assistance that can be given, the players get lots of assistance in terms of technology they use before and after a game, as Worrell comes in at the start of his over. And it's 43 for 2, and this ball has just worked away, the first one from Livingston on the onside for a single. He'll move on to 3, and the score is up to 44 for 2 in the 6th over. I mean, and I totally take Michael Carberry's comments as you hear, this is the players' careers on the line when it comes to umpiring decisions which perhaps are wrong, as this next ball is about to be bowled to Jason Roy. So it's Livingston and Roy. Plenty of English interest out there right now as Worrell's in and bowling. That's a flourish of the bat from Jason Roy, who will move to 21 and 45 for 2 in the 6th over. But I do question whether or not players really do suffer in their career greatly on the basis of umpiring decisions, because surely a decent coach or a decent director of cricket will take a look at the scores and say, well, actually, I remember that one, that wasn't their fault, blah, blah, blah. But clearly, on occasions, the players are going to be really unhappy, and understandably so, about decisions that don't go their way, as this one is guided down towards third man, and there will be a single, and the score moved up to 46 for 2 midway through the 6th over. And I know that there will be players who they're at pinch points in their career, just so they need a big score, they get given a rotten decision, that sort of thing, but that's generally because the scores have not been too good before then. So I understand that they will feel aggrieved, but whichever way you look at it, if the technology is there, use it, as we've seen used and to good effect in cricket over recent years. Oh, no, was that quite the helicopter? I don't know, but either way, he's out, and Salt has taken the catch, and he's got rid of Roy. An all-English affair, but it's Roy who's gone for 21. It's another wicket down here for the Scorchers. 46 for 3, 2 balls left of the 6th over, and Worrell it is who gets rid of the very dangerous Jason Roy, and the Perth Scorchers, chasing what looked to be a relatively modest target, have got work to do here in this 6th over.
Yeah, Michael Carberry watching all alongside me, puts his hands out as if to say, well, what's he done that for? It's a sort of, given the start they had and the position that they found themselves in, and the wickets that have fallen, it seems an expansive shot that maybe wasn't necessary with how well he was going, Jason Roy, and he looks frustrated as he heads off the field. And there's a rebuilding job to do. How often have we said this with the Perth Scorchers as Mitch Marsh walks to the middle, that work to do and Marsh has to be that anchor to try and do a lot of the bolstering of what's been a tricky little phase of batting for the Scorchers.
Yes, indeed. Another 120 needed off 86 balls if they were to try and win the game. And that next delivery is whipped away into the offside. And Mitch Marsh will face his first delivery next ball. The batsman having crossed. So Phil Salt's had a good night. He's taken a catch there on the back of his 51 with the bat. We've got one ball left here, the 6th over of this Scorchers reply. 79 for 1 was the score after 10 overs for the strikers, by the way. So the Scorchers perhaps mindful of that as well. But it's Livingston and Marsh not out pair. Livingston's just picked up a single to move to 5. We've got one ball left to the 6th over here, and it's Worrell to bowl it. And he's runs in wide and then comes in and bowls, and just fishing at that one. Little Marsh, very lucky not to get a little tickle on that through to the keeper. But 6 overs gone, 47 for 3, 119 off 84 deliveries. Still batting here for the Scorchers, but they've also got to have the confidence to carry this off. And of course Livingston back with the Scorchers, but for the first time in this season, he's got a big job to do. He's more than capable, and he can make easy work of this should he be minded to. Mitchell Marsh exactly the same.
Indeed. Just to finish that point, Kevin, about the effect bad decisions can have on a player's career, I think particularly in the days that we find ourselves in the micro-analysis of cricket, and how players' statistics are looked at, Moneyball and all these things, where, say, a coach and an analyst might be looking at the player they want to fill a role, and they'll say, we want someone that averages over X, and somebody's average could be under X because of a poor decision, and that rules them out of the competition and a potential career opportunity.
Next delivery is punched back to the bowler, and there'll be no run. I would question a coach or a performance director. It just looks entirely on stats, though, Henry.
Well, I'm afraid it's a large way the game's going if you look at the way that a lot of the analysis happens.
Briggs in bowls and tries to whip that ball away on the onside, and there will be no run. If that's the way it is, that's the way it is. But I suggest that some of the better decisions aren't just based on the stats. Livingston facing a delivery in and bowls, and plays back and worked away through square leg for a single. And the score moves to 48 for 3. I would imagine with all the stats, though, it can only help him making a decision. But I'd hate to think that due diligence wasn't done in other ways. Mitch Marsh has only faced one ball, and he's about to face his second, to be bowled by Danny Briggs, who comes in and bowls now. A little bit of width, sits up quite nicely, but can't get the timing right. Marsh to whip it away. So it remains at 48 for 3. 2 balls left to this 7th over, and the tall figure of Briggs will come in past the umpire, in and bowls on the leg stump, and again can't get it past the fielders at the moment, Marsh. So these are dot balls starting to add up here for Danny Briggs. 5 deliveries so far. He's conceded just 1 run, so a good start for Briggs. Tries to come in, keeping up good rhythm, punch straight back to him, and there's another dot ball. Terrific start for Danny Briggs. He'll enjoy that, and rightly so. 7 overs gone, 48 for 3. Livingston on 6, and Mitch Marsh yet to get off the mark, having faced 4 balls, and some good deliveries from Danny Briggs.
Indeed. Listen to the response from the crowd at the Adelaide Oval as well. That must be really special for cricketers that have spent the last 12 months largely playing in front of nobody, to get that acclaim for a good over. It will make all the difference, and those weeks in quarantine, all those challenges that have come with featuring for those players that have come from overseas in this Big Bash League, to play at venues like this with crowds making real noise, a real sense of occasion, it must feel really special.
A little bit of a plateau here at the moment for the Scorchers, having got off to a racing start in those first 4 overs, of course, just trying to find their feet again. And spin to continue. Rashid Khan in and bowls, playing back to it. Livingston turns the ball into enough space on the leg side to go through for 1. And the score up to 49 for 3 now in this 8th over. Got more Big Bash cricket for you tomorrow morning, of course, but before that, who knows how long it will last. But at 11:05 tonight, it's day 4 of Australia versus India. Australia 133 for 6. As this one, playing a miss from Marsh. Well, he can get going. He did well with the ball. He sort of wrestled things back a little earlier, but as yet can't get that ball away with the bat. But just to say, Australia resume 133 for 6, a lead of 2 runs. Much needed partnership of 34 unbroken at the moment between Green and Cummins. You can follow that 11:05 this evening. Now Marsh will be able to get off the mark, just square on the offside for a single. And it brings up the 50 here for the Scorchers now. 50 for 3 midway through the 8th over. There is no need to panic here for the Scorchers. And in those dramatic matches that I've been calling on a couple of occasions, 3 wickets down is no need for any panic. Livingston's gone big here over the leg side though on Rashid Khan, and he's cleared the boundary rope and into the stand for a 6. Now then, Liam Livingstone, a 6 sees him to 13 and the score up to 56 for 3. Oh, he got hold of that beautifully. The timing, and it just flew away there over mid-wicket, foot down, bat in the right place. Excellent timing. Has to be a little bit more circumspect with a good delivery from Rashid here, which beats the bat, and Rashid all smiles on the outside, maybe not on the inside, who knows, but Livingstone had to be a little bit more careful there, put the bat to it, and it just goes past the outside edge of the bat, but nothing on it, no wood on it. 1 ball left to the 8th over. Back to his mark again. He is smiling. It's probably a smile of frustration a little. Plays back and tries to whip that one away, and does. Livingstone again along the ground, this time on the onside. Renshaw with the right arm throw. They'll get 1, and Livingstone will move to 14, and the score up to 57 for 3 after 8 overs. Livingstone and Marsh, the not-out pair, 109 off 72 for the win. In terms of the bonus point, the bash boost point, 2 overs remaining for them to take their score from 57 up to 80 to pick up that point.
You know, seeing today, Kevin, the ICC Awards of the Decade have been announced with cricketers over the last 10 years who have dominated across the various formats. I'll bring you some details of who has won what in a moment.
Next delivery from somebody who hasn't won it, but still having a good night, Danny Briggs. Driven up to mid-on.
Indeed.
I don't think I've spoiled the big reveal for you there.
No, I don't think so.
No.
I think
50...
For some predictable names, I think it's fair to say.
58 for 3, not the sheer for Danny, maybe another. As he comes in and bowls now, gets down on a knee, in the air, and caught! And Briggs has got a wicket. Deserved it as well. His first over was good, and his second one, and he's backed it up in the taking of the wicket of Mitch Marsh, who just couldn't get going. He only faced 6 deliveries, but 58 for 4 in the 9th over. And the spin doing the trick here, but not just Rashid Khan, Danny Briggs playing a part as well.
Yeah, a shot that looked like somebody trying to just find something that would get their innings going. And Marsh's reaction as he walks off, he looks like somebody that knows he's given his wicket away, doesn't he? He's looking frustratedly up at the big screen, seeing the replays of the shot, and knows this was an opportunity alongside Liam Livingstone for them to build the partnership that could not only see them get that bash boost point, one of which they've yet to achieve in the tournament so far, but also perhaps get their first win of the competition. Now, 4 wickets down in the 9th over, they find themselves in more than a spot of bother, I think it's fair to say.
22 runs off 10 balls if they were to get that bash boost point. But Marsh has gone for 1, and Briggs, who had a decent start to the competition, because he, as I say, was involved with some decent late order runs in a game which they couldn't obviously get over the line because they're still without a win, but that was okay. And then he's been subbed a couple of times, but no doubt his coach Jason Gillespie will know him well from the Sussex days for Briggs, as he's in now and bowls, and a play and a miss this time from Turner, who is the new batter. Briggs now having moved on, but knows Jason Gillespie from Sussex, and no doubt Jason, being the sort of character he is, will have explained it all to him. Briggs now, though, shining with the ball in hand. There will be a run worked away through mid-wicket here, though, for the Scorchers, to see their score up to 59 for 4. 2 balls left of the 9th over. Turner on 1, and Liam Livingstone, who cleared his legs and whipped the ball from Rashid Khan beautifully over the boundary. What can he do with this one from Briggs? Leans back and punches it straight to Siddle. Fielding at backward point. Really enjoyed the Annie Lennox line from you, Henry, earlier.
Do you know what I mean by that?
Oh, very much so. Very much so. Livingston on 15, and that's punched wide of Briggs. He tries to grasp the ball, but they'll get one. Worrell with a right arm throw, and 9 overs gone, and it's now 60 for 4 after 9 overs, and Livingston on 16 and Turner on 1. So the bash boost point perhaps a little out of reach, but Briggs 2 overs, 1 for 4. Well, I'm trying to think who we've had, because I went Billy Idol for people of a certain age. You've gone for Annie Lennox. There was one other that people have come up with which escapes my notice at my memory.
The hair, it's sort of the curly hair with the bleach in it. It sort of also looks a bit like super noodles before you cook them. Do you know what I mean?
You know me and my healthy diet, I wouldn't know.
That's the sort of vibe. But it's a new look, it's working for him. Right, I'm going to quickly go through some of these award winners. Virat Kohli is the male cricketer of the decade. Elise Perry, unsurprisingly, female cricketer of the decade.
Agar, at the start of this 10th over, in and bowls. It's uppish, but it's safe, down towards fine leg. Worrell with the right arm throw, and it's 1 more run.
Yeah, Steve Smith is the men's test cricketer of the decade, and no women's test cricketer of the decade, such as the rarity of which women's tests happen. Virat Kohli, the ODI cricketer of the decade for men. Perry again for women. Rashid Khan is the T20 men's cricketer of the decade. Elise Perry is the women's T20 cricketer of the decade. And association cricketers of the decade, Carl Coates and Catherine Bryce, both representing Scotland in the men's and women's categories. MS Dhoni, for the time he recalled Ian Bell in 2011, wins the Spirit of Cricket Award for the decade.
Is that Trent Bridge, that one? Turner it is facing. That's past the off stump and through to the keeper Keir. Is that the right one?
That was, yes.
Where he thought it was tea time, and he was on his way off, and the ball actually was still live.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was on about sort of late hundreds, heading towards 200, I think, at the time. And there was all that brouhaha during the tea interval, and eventually he was called back out again.
But it helped fill 20 minutes on the programme, I seem to recall, with some heated debate as to what should happen. Agar comes in now to bowl to Turner again, and flourish of the bat there from Turner, but it was just for a single, and he moves on to 2 and 62 for 4 midway through the 10th over. So 18 off 3 balls for this bash boost point. As I say, one of the games we were following, a team seemingly out of it, and then they seemingly on thinking, well, maybe we'll just pick up a point. They didn't actually get there, but the momentum it gave them actually led then to them going on to win the game. So I think this 10 over bash boost point is a real positive to the game, as although it might not go the way of the batting side tonight, it will go the way of the fielding side. Again, something for them to defend, as a single is worked away on the onside. But such is the target anyway, of competitive, maybe on the modest side. You'd still be thinking, well, the Scorchers here, you're worried about the wickets column, of course you are, but in Livingston and in Turner, still batters of high calibre, so you're not out of it in terms of winning the game. Turner is on 2, Agar bowls to him now, and defensively played back to Agar for no run, so 63 for 4. 1 ball left of this 10th over. Liam Livingstone finally gets to put on the Scorcher shirt again, having been through the quarantine. Jason Roy likewise, although Roy is out. Very powerful at the top of the innings, of course, Jason Roy, but eventually sent one to Phil Salt, who took the catch for the strikers, who Agar now bowls. That's on middle and leg. They go for an appeal, and he's going to be given. And Turner has now gone. That's 5 down. This is dangerous, serious times for the Scorchers after 10 overs, 63 for 5. And Turner has gone. LBW for only 2. It's a wicket for Agar. And we'll take a look at it again here. Comes back in fairly high above the knee roll there, but the appeal Very convincing from Agar, and the umpire was prepared to go with it, and Turner makes his way off. So the strikers were 79 for 1 at this stage, and the Scorchers now 63 for 5 with Ashton, Turner, LBW to Agar for 2.
Indeed, thank you, Kevin. We'll hear more from Kevin Howes for the final 5 overs of the innings, but I'm pleased to say Michael Carberry, former Perth Scorchers batsman, is alongside me. And you look at the way this innings has collapsed, Carbs. You've been looking frustrated with some of the shots that we've seen. They were 35 without loss after 3 overs. They're 63 for 5 after 10, needing 103 from 60 deliveries.
Yeah, it's just not been very good, to be honest. Some very interesting options. Again, it's just bad cricket basics. Look, I'll sound like the grumpy old pro here, but it's no good having all that power in your lineup and not knowing how to put it down and when to apply it. And just some of the dismissals for me were just needless. You know, you're going along well. You know, Jason Roy was set, he was playing well. Fielders posted out there, take the runs on offer. I mean, if someone like Jason Roy bats 15 overs, he's going to be in excess of 60 or 70 not out, probably more. He's not someone who has to try and chase runs, in my opinion. And you've won the game. And what's happened now, that dismissal has opened the door. You know, suddenly a few LBs, and credit to the strikers, bowlers, you know, the likes of Briggs and Rashid, as did the you know, we saw in the strikers innings. You know, they've managed to not only peg back the scoring rate, but they've also taken wickets. And the Scorchers batsmen haven't really had any answers. I mean, there's just been some very, very odd. I mean, Colin Munro aside, that was a good nut, but sometimes there's just been some very odd dismissals.
The look of a side that are perhaps struggling for confidence.
I just think a side, and as I say, I'm not basing it just this season. I've said it time and time again. I think it's based on the last couple of seasons where they've just gone away from what made them a good team, which was just to play good basic cricket. You know, play smart cricket, build partnerships, take risks, calculated risks when you need to. Yes, for sure. It's a game of high risk. We know that. But you can also, there's also smarts that has to go alongside power. And I'm just not seeing that. I mean, Mitchell Marsh, experienced pro. I mean, that was a nothing shot. You've just hit that flat at the guy a deep square leg. You haven't tried to hit that for 6 or roll your wrist and hit it on the floor. It's just very disappointing.
Aaron Hardy's the new man in, but it's Liam Livingstone on strike. Mistiming a pull that could easily have found the hands of John O'Wells at deep mid-wicket, but in Rashid Khan's third over, a single at the start of it and nothing more. It'll bring Hardy onto strike.
You know, I'm looking at this from a batting point of view. I mean, who's the danger guy in this lineup? It's without doubt Rashid Khan. He's the class act. Let him go at 6 and over. You know, you've got other guys, Danny Briggs, who's not a massive turner ball, potentially someone you can target. You've got other seamers to come, less experienced guys.
Hardy on strike. His first ball is defended very deep in the crease. You can barely watch, Carbs.
Don't miss that, young man, I'll tell you that. I was appealing before Rashid Khan was.
Yeah, that was one of those. You see it as a batsman, you think that he's got a little bit lucky there. Has he got lucky with that one though? Because I think the catch has been taken. Yeah, high fives as he looked to pull it away. Hardy has found a bottom edge into the gloves of Carey. It's another wicket for Rashid Khan, and Hardy, his stay at the crease is a short one. Another wicket fall, 64 for 6.
Yeah, Perth Scorchers digging their own grave here, aren't they, really? Again, you know, just nothing, a bit unlucky, you'd say, dragged down, trying to pull it away, getting a glove onto it. Just giving Rashid Khan wickets at this stage, he can't afford to do. He's a proven performer at this level. You know, what's the batting chats in the sheds here from the Scorchers batsmen? Are they, you know, surely it's got to be a case of, say, we look to see someone like Rashid Khan off and look to maybe target one of the lesser bowlers in the strikers lineup, but you just feel like it's just a revolving door at the moment. No real plan. Playing a little bit tentative to the spinners as well. As I said, the likes of Danny Briggs, who hasn't gone for many runs, you've got to be aggressive to someone like him.
Yeah, it's suddenly become the strikers' game just in the blink of an eye through a series of really poor shots. Richardson deep in his crease, new man coming in at 8, and Rashid Khan, well, the crowd like that. Little hop and a skip, a couple of keepy-ups.
He's on fire today, isn't he?
He's having fun. Runs with the bat, wickets with the ball, and a few little tricks too. Slip in place, it's short and it's wide, clubbed away from Richardson. He'll pick up 1 to deep cover and bring Livingston onto strike. And actually now we're at the sort of territory of 101 needed from 55, where Liam Livingstone, in his first game of this year's tournament, has to win this on his own.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Liam Livingstone, who's, I would say, played very, very well, considering all the carnage at the other end.
Rashid Khan is into a big appeal for LBW. It's the wrong end. The umpire says no.
Just outside.
Big stride forward from the England batsman.
But again, not great. Why not play full face to the bat? He's trying to work across. You know what Rashid Khan's going to try and do. He bowls predominantly wrong-uns, so he's looking to target the stumps. He bowls it quite quick as well, so he's not a leg spinner you can really get back to a lot. And you're Livingstone trying to work that to deep backward square leg. It's just fraught with danger. Try and hit that down the ground. As I say, basic cricket. It's called basic cricket for a reason. It's always worked. It's worked from 1870 when this great game first got taken up. Just very odd.
Yeah, they're in a spot of bother. 65 for 6 after 11 overs. Livingstone on 19, Richardson on 1. 101 needed from 54 deliveries. I did see a tweet that made me laugh, speaking of classic cricket, as Peter Siddle comes in and bowls at the start of his second over. Well stopped as Richardson tries to cut it away. Diving figure at backward point. Briggs does well, and that is, if you had the coaching manual and you saw Jasprit Bumrah bowling to Steve Smith and Marnus Labuschagne, 3 of the best cricketers in the world. They're not exactly the classic, they are very much, the anti-classic cricketers, if you like, and yeah, I suppose it shows.
But they do the basics well.
Siddle moves into bowl to Richardson, running the ball down to third man to bring Livingstone onto strike. 66 for 6.
You look at a Jasprit Bumrah's wrist, always in the perfect position. Right.
So what you're saying is, as long as the basics are right, is in straight bat, those things, as opposed to
Marnus Labuschagne moves around the crease, as does Steve Smith. But where do they look to play the ball? Straight down the ground. When the straight ball comes, they hit the ball straight. Their heads are perfectly still. What I'm saying is also the options they take.
Livingstone swings and misses. Through to the keeper it goes.
I always say, look, Steve Smith, yes, he's unorthodox to look at, but you look at the options he takes when he plays T20 cricket. He doesn't really mess around a lot with slog, reverse laps and scoops over the head. He plays good basic cricket shots. Virat Kohli's very the same. These guys are the 2 best T20 players, you remember. They play normal orthodox cricket shots.
Siddle in to Livingstone on 19. It's on the pads and whipped away, nicely timed, but there's protection in the form of Phil Salt, the Sussex man, at deep mid-wicket, and he picks up and throws. 67 for 6.
I think the problem is sometimes when you've got these now hitting coaches, power coaches that have come in the game, it's almost overriding the normal batting coach. Remember, it's not a game of hitting, it's a batting game. Right, there's a marked difference.
Siddle into Richardson, looking to pull into the leg side, gets enough on it to beat the fielder at short mid-wicket, and he'll get 4 as well. There's no protection up there in the deep, and Renshaw running round can't pick it up. Valuable runs. It's a boundary. 71 for 6.
Yeah, fantastic from Jai Richardson. He's come in, he's got to give Liam Livingstone some support here. You can't afford to really lose any more wickets, you feel. Pete Siddle feel a little bit hard done by. It wasn't actually a bad ball, but Jai Richardson pulled it away.
Siddle to Richardson. This time it's going to just be 1 into the offside, just nudged on, and Rashid Khan again with the keepy-ups as the over concludes. So Richardson will have the strike at the start of the 13th. 72 for 6. This is interesting, that difference between batting and hitting.
Yeah, it's a marked difference. But remember, a lot of these hitting coaches now come from baseball. They've spent some time with baseball. In baseball, you don't protect stumps, right? Remember that. And the ball doesn't land on a pitch, so there's not the factors of seam bowl. You don't have to worry about a ball hitting the seam and a ball jagging both ways and these kind of things. In cricket, it's a batting. You're looking at the scoreboard, you're looking at the game scenario, you're having to factor in the conditions, all these things. There's a lot more to take in. This is why I understand the mechanics of hitting, coming from baseball, but remember, batting's still a different game. It still requires a little bit of nous.
It's interesting. Briggs
ran over.
Briggs into his third over, slip in place. Richardson sees a very full delivery, digging it out. And the score remains 72 for 6, 94 needed from 47. That's exactly 12 and over. As Briggs is in, and it'll be another dot ball. What a spell he's bowled so far. He's taken the 1 wicket, just conceded 4 runs in his first 14 balls.
I had the pleasure of this for 6 or 7 years at Hampshire with Briggsy. This is what he does. This is why he was effective for Hampshire.
Round arm, bowls him. Richardson goes. Leg stump gets ripped back. And it's another wicket for Briggs, who gets the high fives and the punches of the wrists. And that is just reward for a really top spell of bowling. Midway through the 13th over, 72 for 7.
This is classic Danny Briggs. This is why he was one of the key match winners at Hampshire for many, many years in our T20 campaigns. This is what he does, stump to stump, not a lot of spin. And you miss, he hits. And he's been fantastic for the strikers and really one of the key catalysts for getting them back in this game from a poor start. So well done to him. And another wicket down, you feel that this game's kind of gone away from the Scorchers.
Well, it's going to take something remarkable from here. And Liam Livingstone has been standing at the non-strikers end watching carnage. Wicket falling almost every couple of deliveries, it feels like. As Richardson goes for 7, he greets another. It's sort of speed dating, this, isn't it? You know, just endlessly new people. Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? Andrew Ty's the new man in the middle. He's not somebody known for hitting big runs, but he still needs 94 to win from 45. He senses it's going to have to be Livingstone or nothing. Ty will hopefully be able to do a little bit of nudging and nurdling, getting off strike. Here comes Briggs again, and he gives himself some space. I mean, blimey, that is a horrific piece of batting, whatever way you look at it. Michael Carberry described that.
I need to lie down, mate. It's first ball. I mean, you've just lost the wicket. You know, you've got Liam Livingstone on 20 at the other end. Andrew Ty, you're an experienced guy. Surely you've got to take responsibility and say, I've got to be here. I will support you. Play low-risk cricket.
Briggs bowling to Ty, who's driving into the ground. Crowd think it's a catch, but it's a bump ball. 1 ball left of the 13th over. What an over this has been from Briggs. He's in to bowl to Ty. It's in the air, down the ground it goes. It's going to be runs. It could be a boundary. Oh, it ruins it for Danny Briggs. There's 4 runs down the ground. And he's conceded a boundary at the end of his third over. His figures are now 2 for 8. It's 76 for 7 after 13. 90 from 42. Straight batting.
Did we just see a straight ball getting hit there, Henry? I just woke up from here.
There you go.
Brilliant. Absolute. That's exactly what's required at this stage, right? Straight ball, hit it straight. I mean, look, let's not get away from the fact that was a fantastic spell from Danny Briggs, and I've seen that many years at Hampshire, and that's what he does. He's not going to give you much width. He's going to bowl stump to stump. He makes you go across the ball. These short boundaries are quite inviting, as I said at the top of the show, but you still got to, someone who's prepared to land the ball, be brave. Yeah, look, there's an opportunity for batters to slog sweep him out the ground. We know that, but I like the fact that Danny Briggs, he's not going to lose his cool too often or too regularly. That's why he has one of the best T20 records going around in world cricket.
Here comes the power surge. This is perhaps the opportunity for the Scorchers to get a foothold in this game. Fielding restrictions back in, so 2 allowed outside the 30-yard circle. It's a new feature in this year's Big Bash League, and it's a chance perhaps for the Scorchers to do something.
Well, I don't think he has much choice, really, Liam Livingstone. I mean, let's be fair. I mean, if Andrew Ty gets out, there's not much to come in terms of batting, so you don't want to, I suppose, die wondering. So he could as well try and do some damage in these next 2 overs.
The hulking figure of Wes Agar into bowl to Livingstone. Oh, down the leg side it goes. Will be signalled a wide, and is often. We've seen that during the early stages of the power surge. Bowlers trying anything.
Regulation wide.
Yeah, just trying to overcompensate or trying to do something to get the batsman off there.
This is what could work in the Scorchers' favour. just forcing the bowlers to change their plans. If Liam Livingstone can strike a few over the ropes, game on.
Livingstone on strike, 20 from 21 for the Lancashire man. He's waiting for Agar and swinging. He'll get at least one front of square on the leg side, and probably will just be that single, as Renshaw will pick up and throw well. And 88 needed from 41.
What I want to see here now is Liam Livingstone walk down the wicket to AJ Tye and sort of have a quiet word to him and say, listen mate, I don't need you to go too frenetic here. Just play good strong cricket shots, but try and give me the strike, because they can't afford to lose any more wickets at this stage. You feel one or two more wickets here is curtains.
AJ Tye only averages 11 in T20 cricket, so he's not one of those lower order hitters who can get you a significant chunk of runs too regularly. He's on strike now. 4 from 3 for him. Agar in bowls, and it's dug out, and that's pretty much job done. He's dug it out, he's got the single, and gets Livingstone back on strike.
Brilliant from AJ Tye. That's exactly what was required. Just take the runs on offer. Got the experienced man, the top order batter he's in 21 from 22 balls. As I said, it's on Liam Livingstone's shoulders, but that's down to some poor options from the rest, so he's got to take it on there. And again, just play good cricket shots. Doesn't need to slog. He's a good enough striker of the ball.
Livingstone on 21, waiting. Again, a full delivery right in the block hole. He can only get one. Looks frustrated. Throws his head back as he runs through for the single. It's 80 for 7. Livingstone looking at that toe end of the bat. He's been given nothing to work with from a really good over from Agar.
Yeah, good bowling from young Agar there, backing himself to get the full Yorker in full and straight, not giving Livingstone any room to swing those arms.
All in blue boots, trousers, shirt for Agar. He looks the part and he's running into bowl to Tye. It's on the pads of the batsman. He can do nothing other than bunt it out as far as Peter Siddle, and there is no run. This is not exactly a power surge.
It's not, is it? Yeah, but good bowling. He's getting the Yorkers in. I mean, it's still a tough ball to hit, as I said. Good basics again. The good fashion Yorker. It still works in all forms of the game. It's very tough to strike those out the ground.
Tye on 5. 80 for 7 is the score. He's waiting, trying to do something creative, and he's done well. Well, we were praising the straight batted play, but when he took that slightly more creative option, a little paddle around the corner, he gets 4 runs down to fine leg. 84 for 7.
Yeah, and look, good risk. The fine leg's up. He's obviously getting Wes Agar is getting the ball up in the block hole nicely. So yeah, the shot over his head is not on. Go for the ramp. Good batting. Good calculated option.
Final ball of the 14th over, the first of the power surge. Sees Agar charging into bowl to Tye. Full toss, chipped up, down the ground it goes. It could be 4 runs. It's going to be 4 runs. Back-to-back boundaries to finish the 14th over. And that might just breathe a little bit of belief, confidence to the Scorchers, who need 78 from 36, but only 3 wickets in hand.
Absolutely, very good options there from AJ Tye, showing his class. And again, forced the bowler to overcompensate on another Yorker, end up being a full toss and just playing through the line really. And that was good batting. So you've got a little bit of momentum here now. They've got to keep it going. You feel these two got to be the ones to see at home if the Scorchers are going to have any chance of winning this game. Still a long way to go though.
Yeah, they need a number of overs like that where sensible risks are taken and they can just give themselves a bit of a foothold. Absolutely. They're behind the 8 ball at the moment. They haven't got the bash boost point. That's gone to the Adelaide strikers. Can they get their first victory of the campaign? Livingstone will be on strike with Peter Siddle running in. Blonde hair, right arm over, and Livingstone swings brutally into the offside. Is he caught? Yes! What a catch. He's wringing his hands. Is Rashid Khan at extra cover? It's been pounded at the Afghan bowler, and what a catch that is. Livingstone goes, and surely with that, any chance for the Scorchers? He had to go hard, and go hard he did, but straight to the hands of the fielder.
Yeah, I feel a bit sorry for Liam Livingstone there. He like you say, he had to go. The ball was up, cover filled up in the ring. Peter Siddle, grateful for that. I think he realised he got one wrong there, but it's been a tough night for Liam Livingston. He didn't really gain any support there. Was pretty much the lone hand in this, and you do feel that that's probably the end of the Scorchers' efforts in this game, really.
Yeah, 78 from 35 needed, and they've got, two very much bowling batsmen coming in, if you know what I mean. They're not. It's not the strongest tail.
He's been in the wars, Rashid Khan.
Has he
He's
ever?
got one on the drumstick, bad hamstring. And now, that hand looks purple, doesn't it?
Oh, really does. I mean, that's one way, I suppose. Maybe that's part of the Perth Scorchers plan. Hit everything as hard as you possibly can at Rashid Khan, in the hope that...
Well, it hasn't worked, has it?
He's grimacing as the medical staff put some sort of cooling spray on his hand.
You usually feel those ones when you got to drive the car the next day.
Okay.
Yeah. If for those who, like me, drive one-handed, it's
Okay.
a bit sore.
Siddle moving into bowl. It's nicely played. Flick round the corner from Behrendorff. He's going to pick up runs. He's going to pick up 4. Fine leg up inside the circle. Just a little tickle around the corner, and he gets a boundary. First ball. Behrendorff up and running. It's 92 for 8.
Welcome runs for big Jason. He likes his batting. Good man, Jason Behrendorff. And Peter Siddle just getting it wrong down the leg side. Behrendorff squeezing it past fine leg. All welcome runs.
Siddle has 1 for 22. He's charging in now. Behrendorff on 4. Digs out a Yorker and there's no run.
Very good with the Yorkers, the strikers, I have to say. They've tended to been their go-to almost, really, haven't they? They've gone straight at the stumps, haven't given these Perth Scorchers batsmen any width to play with whatsoever. And the Perth Scorchers found it quite difficult, not being able to manoeuvre the ball around.
Just since that fast start, just gone nowhere, really. Behrendorff waiting, driving without perfect timing. Throw comes in, misses at the non-striker's end. There was trouble if it hit. And Behrendorff had to take the chance and decided, with the pressure they're under, any run's a good run.
Yeah, it's been a weird innings, hasn't it? Because you'd say they haven't looked out of nick with the bat. I mean, generally guys have got in, and that's the frustration, is that guys have got in and no one's gone on. And you feel that this run chase, 160, you only needed really one person just to get in and go on and get a 50 or 60, maybe 70 not out, break the back of the run chase, just from good cricket.
Tie on 13, waits for Siddle, and he's bowled! The Zing Bales light up. Siddle with a big fist pump sees the Adelaide Strikers on the verge of victory. 93 for 9, 73 needed from 31, and AJ Tye is the latest to fall.
Yeah, good on Peter Siddle. He's a great bowler for a reason. Knows where to bowl in these pressure situations. Hasn't been his best night by his standards, he would say, but he's come back in got the important wickets, and another wicket down for the Scorchers. Sorry. And I think that's murder she wrote almost.
And also, net run rate comes into things as well, and the quicker you can get the job done, the better.
I think that'll be one of the things Adam Voges, the coach of the Perth Scorchers, will be disappointed at. Yet again, they've been bowled out under 20 overs, only into 14.5 overs, to be bundled out and looking like under 100. Very disappointing display.
Yeah, it's not exactly been the sort of showing that you'd expect from a team with the sort of talent in the Perth Scorchers lineup. Siddle into Bolton, new man Fawad Ahmed, the last batsman. Oh dear, they look like numbers 10 and 11 batting together the way they set off for that run. And the over comes to an end. 15 gone. Michael Carvery, some thoughts from you. 93 for 9. I'm getting out the way, and Kevin Howes will see us home.
Yeah, unfortunately I haven't been able to bring my Scorchers very much luck when I've when I've been on punditry. Let's say it's all credit to the strikers. I think it started really from Rashid's pyrotechnics at the back end of their innings. He was fantastic. He really gave them some momentum going into their bowling innings, and apart from a brief flurry at the start of the order from the Perth Scorchers batters, from Jason Roy and Joss Inglis. They just really haven't got going. They've picked some poor options. Guys have got out at the wrong stage, and Liam Livingstone was unfortunately left to play the lone hand. So yeah, all in all, pretty disappointing day for the men in orange and black.
And Mike, you're saying that several times you've said this evening, what are the plans? Do they have any? Are they just not executing them? How are they going about it? Well, Berendorf here facing this next delivery. It's a delivery from Worrell, which is a Yorker length delivery. They'll have to be quick. They make their ground. The throw not hitting the stumps anyway. But if you're looking at ways to improve from the Scorchers, obviously from a distance looking in on this, you're thinking to yourself, perhaps they're just, from an organisational point of view, perhaps they need to be a little bit more certain about what they're trying to achieve.
Yeah, it's certainly not a lack of talent. Let me be clear on that. I mean, you look at that lineup today, you'd think, on paper, they probably, for what paper's worth, they probably outclass the strikers. But I think it's all between the ears, if I'll be honest. Just some of the timings of options is what's letting them down.
Worrell to Ahmed, bowled in, game over. Worrell takes the final wicket, all out for 94 of the Scorchers. So the Strikers with another win, which I think is going to take them to the top of the table. They've played a game more than the other teams around them, but a 71 runs victory tells a story, Michael Carberry, of, well, dominance in a game which actually has been, you would have thought it had so many ebbs and flows, we wouldn't have had necessarily a finish like this, but we have.
Yeah, I thought at the break that Scorchers had every chance of chasing this target down. 160 in modern day T20 cricket is not a massive total, especially at a ground like Adelaide, where they're used to high scoring games. But it's just been a very disappointing batting display. Say the likes of Jason Roy got in, got out at the wrong time. They would have looked someone like him to kick on and make a significant score. It didn't quite happen. Liam Livingstone was, as I said, left on his own really, watching the carnage at the other end. I think the way they went about playing the spinners was very tentative in their approach. And from a bowling perspective, again, look at how the Strikers bowled. They bowled straight at the stumps, not giving width. The Scorchers were disappointing at the start, serving up a lot of short balls to Phil Salt, who I thought played beautifully and capitalised, and it was great to watch. But just an all-round, from a Perth Scorchers point of view, I think it was, certainly a review of the whole game, and the options being taken both with the ball and the bat have to be looked at.
There's the captaincy issue, which, perhaps is something over nothing, but Mitch Marsh is supposed to be the captain. Because of injury, he didn't want to take on that duty at the beginning, but the indication was as soon as he was fully fit, well, he's been bowling again tonight. There were times when I suppose if there's a bit of umpiring thrown in here as well, but they looked a little bit out of sorts in the field as well for me. AJ Ty looked a little bit grumpy, mostly with the wides and the umpires. But it is important when things aren't going so well. You will have been there. We're only really still in the relatively early stages of the competition, but it's important that everybody's as one as a unit going forward in all this, and they've just got to make sure that everybody does feel good about themselves. And obviously the inclusion of Roy and Livingstone, that should make a difference. It didn't quite come off this evening, but we saw in both cases indications of what we know they're capable of. So, there are reasons to be optimistic that the Scorchers can turn it around, but they haven't got to mess about and hang around too long, have they, before they get themselves sorted? No,
exactly. But let's not get that lost in translation. I mean, there still needs to be some tough conversations, I feel, because what I'm saying is based on quite a few years of watching the Scorchers recently of their performances. It hasn't been great. They've really struggled to put that complete performance together. And going back a few years ago, the team I walked into was a team that believed in the basics of the game, right? And that was based upon good cricket awareness, understanding the game you're playing, when to press the go button, when to throttle back, how to soak up pressure, stay in the contest, all the little basic things. That's what's been missing. It's all looked at times very frenetic with the bat. all one-way traffic. There's no real sort of plan. You see so many times they're losing one wicket, then they're losing 2 and 3 in the same over. You can't commit those kind of cricket sins, if you like. I mean, that's what hurts you in T20 cricket.
In terms of momentum, early stages of the competition, still we're not quite a third through. The Sixers and the Thunder, the teams at the top of the table, they've actually now, both of them got 3 wins on the bounce. That's what you want to keep going. We have had it in the past where teams have turned things around midway through the tournament and got going. Obviously the Strikers now joining them. They haven't, I think this is their second win on the bounce, not 3 on the bounce. But whilst we talk about early stages of the competition, you want to make sure you're hanging in there. You see the Scorchers now, they've only got 2 points from 4 games played. The others now up the top, they're into the early teens. So it does, if you like, further give evidence that you can hang around. You've got to get going. You've got to get wins under your belt, because obviously that brings about confidence. But from a striker's point of view, if you're Jason Gillespie, you're fairly satisfied with the way things are going. You've got some runs from Phil Salt today. You know what you're getting from Rashid Khan. What you're basically getting is you're getting Teflon Man, that's for certain, because he's been through it again tonight and has pulled off an amazing performance, hasn't he, with the bat early on to give them this, what we thought was a decent score, but not out of this world.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why Rashid Khan was named one of the T20 cricketers of the decade, because we know that's what he can do. He's proven it time and time again in these franchises and on the world stage. He's one of the modern greats in this form of the game, and the Strikers will be delighted. I think they've overall done the basic things very well. I keep coming back to that word again. They basic things very well. They're aggressive with the bat. They put away the bad ball. You didn't see too much moving around the crease. Yes, the Scorchers got back into it slightly with Mitch Marsh's spell, which was fantastic, but you know, they were smart, they were brave. They sent Rashid Khan in to try and up the ante, and he did, which we know he can do. He scores in weird areas, but that 20 or 30 that he scored off 15 balls, I believe it was just the thing that was needed to just take some momentum into their bowling innings. And boy, with the ball, I thought they were phenomenal. They did a great job, and they just slowly just kept putting slits into the Perth Scorchers batting lineup, and they weren't able to answer.
No, they weren't. Mike, thank you very much for your time. It's been great having you with us again, and we look forward to more of your company. The Perth Scorchers, they needed 166. They were all out for 94. Inglis made 16. Jason Roy back in action again tonight. His 21 was entertaining, full of some big shots, 3 4s and a 6. He faced 11 deliveries before he was caught by Phil Salt. Monroe made 5. Liam Livingston made 22 off 24 balls, including 1 6 off Rashid Khan. Mitch Marsh made just 1. Ashton Turner, the captain, made just 2. Aaron Hardy failed to score. Jai Richardson a 7 and Andrew Ty a 13. And in the end, the bowling figures: Dan Worrell 3.2 overs, 2 for 29. Peter Siddle 3 overs, 2 for 23. Wes Agar 3 overs, 2 for 16. Then Rashid Khan 3 overs, 2 for 18. And great to see Danny Briggs on his way to Warwickshire, of course, in the English domestic game, having been at Hampshire, then Sussex in more recent times, but he's on his way. But for the Strikers, he's bowled 3 overs, 2 for 8 this evening for Danny Briggs, helping them achieve another victory. The Strikers, their 3rd win out of 5 games in the competition, so well done to them for that, and a victory by 71 runs. Now, what have we got coming for you? Well, tonight at 11:05 here on 5 Live Sports Extra, Australia versus India. Day 4 with Australia resuming at 133 for 6. That's a lead of 2 runs. We think we know where that's going, but then again, when we turned up the morning of the All Out for 36, we had no idea that was going to happen, so who knows. But if you want to listen tonight, please do, just after 11 o'clock, and then more Big Bash cricket tomorrow morning at 8:10. This is an interesting one. 2 teams towards the top of the table. It's the Thunder versus the Stars. The Thunder have played 4, they've won 3 games. The Stars have played 4, they won 2 matches. So they will play match 18 of 61 tomorrow morning. So please join us for that at 8:10. But from myself, Kevin Hulls, from Michael Carberry, and from Henry Moran, for now, cheerio.
The FA Cup 3rd round is here.
A sublime goal!
Including Arsenal Newcastle.
Bobby scores!
Crawley Town, Leeds United.
Madison's in behind the... Madison scores!
Marine, Tottenham Hotspur.
Marine have their big moment.
No replays, guaranteed goals, zero filler.
Here comes the first goal.
The FA Cup third round. Live commentaries across the weekend on 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
England win the World Cup.
Athletics, swimming, boxing.
Trying to get away from danger. Trying to find some sanctuary somewhere in the ring.
Formula One. Golf, rugby league.
Luke Gale tries this time. Luke Gale!
Rugby union, tennis, football.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg! Goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including tennis.
Serves, big serve.
This to take it all the way.
And the screaming and the roaring and the come on, still going.
With live coverage from every Grand Slam.
Nadal celebrates another straight sets victory. First couple of rounds safely negotiated.
Serena and her elder sister Venus Williams are making the walk of champions.
Every single one of these Grand Slam wins means so much.
Plus ATP Tour finals and Davis Cup.
What an extraordinary spectacle. This does not feel like it can be happening.
Well, what a time. The longest and the most intense rally of the match.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including football, with live coverage from the Premier League.
Harry Kane inside the penalty area. Harry Kane finds the back of the net.
Lukaku shoots. Lukaku scores.
FA Cup and EFL Cup.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg! Goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Plus, live action from the Women's Super League, Champions League and international fixtures.
With the free kick, she goes low into the far corner. And the header is there. Brilliant run at the back post. And Nikita Paris gives England the perfect start to the second half.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including cricket.
Curran comes in over the wickets. Bowled in and England win! Amazing from Tom Curran. He picks up 5 wickets, jumps in the air.
Athletics, swimming, tennis.
Hallett's back and into the net. And at last, Caroline Wozniacki is a Grand Slam champion.
Rugby league, Formula One, golf.
Good speed. Oh, it does more than a 360. That is a wicked one.
Rugby union.
It's intercepted by Johnny May. And May's going to score, no question.
Boxing, football.
Steph Horton with the free kick. She goes low into the far corner.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including cricket.
Shrubsole in now. Balls for Bolter! 6 wickets for Henry Shrubsole, England's hero. England win the World Cup.
Athletics, swimming, boxing.
Trying to get away from danger. Trying to find some sanctuary somewhere in the ring.
Formula One. Golf, rugby league.
Luke Gale tries this time. Luke Gale!
Rugby union, tennis, football.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg! Goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including rugby union, with live coverage from the English Premiership, the Challenge Cup and Pro 14s.
What a long overhead pass. Oh, it's taken there by Nathan Hughes. He's up to the line and over.
An opponent, lovely ball from Farrell to Jamie George, who's seen some space, and George is under the post.
Plus, international fixtures, including the Six Nations, Rugby World Cup and Autumn Internationals.
The underdogs have barked loudly.
What a take though! It's taken by Gareth Davis. Gareth Davis is going to go and go and go. Interception from Gareth Davis. He's run 3/4 the length of the field.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including Formula One.
He's about to do his first ever Formula One start. All the drivers are now lined up at the front of this Albert Park circuit. The Australian fans are all on their feet.
With full coverage of practice rounds and qualifying.
Max Verstappen then across the line to start his flying lap. The sparks fly from underneath the Red Bull in the pitch darkness of the Singapore night. Here comes Vettel, faster still.
Plus, live action and analysis from across the F1 calendar.
All 5 lights are on and the first Grand Prix of the season is go.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including cricket.
Shrubsole in now. Balls for Bolger! 6 wickets for Anya Shrubsole, England's hero. England win the World Cup.
Athletics, swimming, boxing.
Trying to get away from danger, trying to find some sanctuary somewhere in the ring.
Formula One. Golf, rugby league.
Luke Gale tries this time. Luke Gale!
Rugby union, tennis, football.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg! Goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including international cricket with Test Match Special.
Listen to this noise. We're right up in the roof. Bowles, that's driven. Lovely shot from Stone. He's timed that really well.
Anderson goes in and bowls, and that is edge and caught behind.
T20 and one-day internationals.
Takes a couple of strides and then pumps his arms and legs, approaches us, bowls, he's bowled in, and Zampa has gone.
Plus, the ICC Cricket World Cup and highlights and analysis from the biggest matches across the cricketing calendar.
Shrubsole in now. Balls for Bolger! 6 wickets for Anya Shrubsole, England's hero. England win the World Cup.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including rugby league with live commentary from the Super League.
Maguire with a kick, and it's Cuthbertson who's on the chase. What about that?
There's an element of anticipation, of excitement. My word, bring it on.
The Challenge Cup, NRL and Super League Super 8.
Tries this time. Luke Gale!
There's places that you go in this game, and this is unbelievable.
Plus, international rugby league.
They've got numbers outside. McGilvray with a chance, and McGilvray will score. Brilliant England move.
when they start to put it together, when they start to get in the groove, they're going to score points.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including cricket.
Shrubsole in now. Balls for Bolger! 6 wickets for Andy Shrubsole, England's hero. England win the World Cup.
Athletics, swimming, boxing.
Trying to get away from danger, trying to find some sanctuary somewhere in the ring.
Formula One. Golf, rugby league.
Luke Gale tries this time. Luke Gale!
Rugby union, tennis, football.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg! Goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including tennis.
Serves, big serve.
This to take it all the way.
And the screaming and the roaring and the come on, still going.
With live coverage from every Grand Slam.
Nadal celebrates another straight sets victory. First couple of rounds safely negotiated.
Serena and her elder sister Venus Williams are making the walk of champions.
Every single one of these Grand Slam wins means so much.
Plus ATP Tour finals and Davis Cup.
What an extraordinary spectacle. This does not feel like it can be happening.
Well, what a time. The longest and the most intense rally of the match.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including football, with live coverage from the Premier League.
Harry Kane inside the penalty area. Harry Kane finds the back of the net.
Lukaku shoots. Lukaku scores.
FA Cup and EFL Cup.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg! Goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Plus, live action from the Women's Super League, Champions League and international fixtures.
With the free kick, she goes low into the far corner. And the header is there. Brilliant run at the back post. And Nikita Paris gives England the perfect start to the second half.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including cricket.
Curran comes in over the wickets. Bowled him and England win! Amazing from Tom Curran. He picks up 5 wickets, jumps in the air.
Athletics, swimming, tennis.
Hallett's back and into the net. And at last, Caroline Wozniacki is a Grand Slam champion.
Rugby league, Formula One, golf.
Good speed. Oh, it does more than a 360. That is a wicked one.
Rugby union.
It's intercepted by Johnny May. And May's going to score, no question.
Boxing, football.
Steph Horton with the free kick. She goes low into the far corner.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including cricket.
Shrubsole in now. Balls for Bolger! 6 wickets for Andy Shrubsole, England's hero. England win the World Cup.
Athletics, swimming, boxing.
Trying to get away from danger, trying to find some sanctuary somewhere in the ring.
Formula One. Golf, rugby league.
Luke Gale tries this time. Luke Gale!
Rugby union, tennis, football.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg! Goal! It's It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including rugby union, with live coverage from the English Premiership, the Challenge Cup and Pro 14s.
What a long overhead pass. Oh, it's taken there by Nathan Hughes. He's up to the line and over.
Philippo, a lovely ball from Farrell to Jamie George, who's seen some space, and George is under the post.
Plus, international fixtures, including the Six Nations, Rugby World Cup and Autumn Internationals.
The underdogs have barked loudly.
What a take though! It's taken by Gareth Davis. Gareth Davis is going to go and go. Interception from Gareth Davis. He's run 3/4 the length of the field.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including Formula One.
He's about to do his first ever Formula One start. All the drivers are now lined up at the front of this Albert Park circuit. The Australian fans are all on their feet.
With full coverage of practice rounds and qualifying.
Max Verstappen then across the line to start his flying lap. The sparks fly from underneath the Red Bull in the pitch darkness of the Singapore night. Here comes Vettel, faster still.
Plus, live action and analysis from across the F1 calendar.
All 5 lights are on and the first Grand Prix of the season is go.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including cricket.
Shrubsole in now. Balls for Bolger! 6 wickets for Andy Shrubsole, England's hero. England win the World Cup.
Athletics, swimming, boxing.
Trying to get away from danger, trying to find some sanctuary somewhere in the ring.
Formula One. Golf, rugby league.
Luke Gale tries this time. Luke Gale!
Rugby union, tennis, football.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg! Goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including international cricket with Test Match Special.
Listen to this noise. We're right up in the roof. Bowles, that's driven. That's a lovely shot from Stone. He's timed that really well.
Anderson goes in and bowls, and that is edge and caught behind.
T20 and one-day internationals.
Takes a couple of strides and then pumps his arms and legs, approaches us, bowls, he's bowled him! And Zampa has gone!
Plus, the ICC Cricket World Cup and highlights and analysis from the biggest matches across the cricketing calendar.
Shrubsole in now. Balls for Bolger! 6 wickets for Andy Shrubsole, England's hero. England win the World Cup.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including rugby league with live commentary from the Super League.
Maguire with a kick, and it's Cuthbertson who's on the chase. What about that?
There's an element of anticipation, of excitement. My word, bring it on.
The Challenge Cup, NRL and Super League Super 8.
Tries this time. Luke Gale!
This place that you go in this game, and this is unbelievable.
Plus, international rugby league.
They've got numbers outside. McGilvray with a chance, and McGilvray will score. Brilliant
When they start to put it together, when they start to get in the groove, they're going to score points.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including cricket.
Shrubsole in now. Balls for Bolzer! 6 wickets for Henry Shrubsole, England's hero. England win the World Cup.
Athletics, swimming, boxing.
Trying to get away from danger, trying to find some sanctuary somewhere in the ring.
Formula One. Golf, rugby league.
Luke Gale tries this time. Luke Gale!
Rugby union, tennis, football.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg! Goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including tennis.
Serves, big serve.
This to take it all the way.
And the screaming and the roaring and the come on, still going.
With live coverage from every Grand Slam.
Nadal celebrates another straight sets victory. First couple of rounds safely negotiated.
Serena and her elder sister Venus Williams are making the walk of champions.
Every single one of these Grand Slam wins means so much.
Plus ATP Tour finals and Davis Cup.
What an extraordinary spectacle. This does not feel like it can be happening.
Well, what a time. The longest and the most intense rally of the match.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including football, with live coverage from the Premier League.
Harry Kane inside the penalty area. Harry Kane finds the back of the net.
Lukaku shoots. Lukaku scores.
FA Cup and EFL Cup.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg! Goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Plus, live action from the Women's Super League, Champions League and international fixtures.
With the free kick, she goes low into the far corner, and the header is there. Brilliant run at the back post, and Nikita Paris gives England the perfect start to the second half.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including cricket.
Curran comes in over the wicket. He's bowled him and England win. Amazing from Tom Curran. He picks up 5 wickets, jumps in the air.
Athletics, swimming, tennis.
Hallett's back and into the net. And at last, Caroline Wozniacki is a Grand Slam champion.
Rugby league, Formula One, golf.
Good speed. Oh, it does more than a 360. That is a wicked one.
Rugby union.
It's intercepted by Johnny May, and May's going to score, no question.
Boxing, football.
Steph Horton with the free kick, she goes low into the far corner.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including cricket.
Shrubsole in now. Balls for Bolzer! 6 wickets for Henry Shrubsole, England's hero. England win the World Cup.
Athletics, swimming, boxing.
Trying to get away from danger, trying to find some sanctuary somewhere in the ring.
Formula One. Golf, rugby league.
Luke Gale tries this time. Luke Gale!
Rugby union, tennis, football.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg! Goal! goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including rugby union, with live coverage from the English Premiership, the Challenge Cup and Pro 14s.
What a long overhead pass. Oh, it's taken there by Nathan Hughes. He's up to the line and over.
An opponent, lovely ball from Farrell to Jamie George, who's seen some space, and George is under the post.
Plus, international fixtures, including the Six Nations, Rugby World Cup and Autumn Internationals.
The underdogs have barked loudly.
What a take though! It's taken by Gareth Davis. Gareth Davis is going to go and go and go. Interception from Gareth Davis. He's run 3/4 the length of the field.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including Formula One.
He's about to do his first ever Formula One start. All the drivers are now lined up at the front of this Albert Park circuit. The Australian fans are all on their feet.
With full coverage of practice rounds and qualifying.
Max Verstappen then across the line to start his flying lap. The sparks fly from underneath the Red Bull in the pitch darkness of the Singapore night. Here comes Vettel, faster still.
Plus, live action and analysis from across the F1 calendar.
All 5 lights are on and the first Grand Prix of the season is go.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including cricket.
Shrubsole in now. Balls for Bolger! 6 wickets for Henry Shrubsole. England's hero. England win the World Cup.
Athletics, swimming, boxing.
Trying to get away from danger, trying to find some sanctuary somewhere in the ring.
Formula One. Golf, rugby league.
Luke Gale tries this time. Luke Gale!
Rugby union, tennis, football.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg! Goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including international cricket with Test Match Special.
Listen to this noise. We're right up in the roof. Bowls, that's driven. Lovely shot from Stoneman. He's timed that really well.
Anderson goes in and bowls, and that is edge and caught behind.
T20 and one-day internationals.
Takes a couple of strides and then pumps his arms and legs, approaches us, bowls, he's bowled him! And Zampa has gone!
Plus, the ICC Cricket World Cup and highlights and analysis from the biggest matches across the cricketing calendar.
Shrubsole in now. Balls for Bolger! 6 wickets for Henry Shrubsole. England's hero. England win the World Cup.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including rugby league with live commentary from the Super League.
Maguire with a kick, and it's Cuthbertson who's on the chase. What about that?
There's an element of anticipation, of excitement. My word, bring it on.
The Challenge Cup, NRL and Super League Super 8.
Tries this time. Luke Gale!
This place that you go in this game, and this is unbelievable.
Plus, International Rugby League.
They've got numbers outside. McGilvray with a chance, and McGilvray will
When they start to put it together, when they start to get in the groove, they're going to score points.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including cricket.
Shrubsole in now. Balls for Bolger! 6 wickets for Andy Shrubsole, England's hero. England win the World Cup.
Athletics, swimming, boxing.
Trying to get away from danger, trying to find some sanctuary somewhere in the ring.
Formula One. Golf, rugby league.
Luke Gale tries this time. Luke Gale!
Rugby union, tennis, football.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg! Goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including tennis.
Serves, big serve.
This to take it all the way.
And the screaming and the roaring and the come on, still going.
With live coverage from every Grand Slam.
Nadal celebrates another straight sets victory. First couple of rounds safely negotiated.
Serena and her elder sister Venus Williams are making the walk of champions.
Every single one of these Grand Slam wins means so much.
Plus ATP Tour Finals and Davis Cup.
What an extraordinary spectacle. This does not feel like it can be happening.
Well, what a time. The longest and the most intense rally of the match.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including football, with live coverage from the Premier League.
Harry Kane inside the penalty area. Harry Kane finds the back of the net.
Lukaku shoots. Lukaku scores.
FA Cup and EFL Cup.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg! Goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Plus, live action from the Women's Super League, Champions League and international fixtures.
With the free kick, she goes low into the far corner, and the header is there. Brilliant run at the back post, and Nikita Paris gives England the perfect start to the second half.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including cricket.
Curran comes in over the wicket. He's bowled him and England win. Amazing from Tom Curran. He picks up 5 wickets, jumps in the air.
Athletics, swimming, tennis.
Hallett's back and into the net. And at last, Caroline Wozniacki is a Grand Slam champion.
Rugby league, Formula One, golf.
Good speed. Oh, it does more than a 360. That is a wicked one.
Rugby union.
It's intercepted by Johnny May, and May's going to score, no question.
Boxing, football.
Steph Horton with the free kick, she goes low into the far corner.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings.